Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the FNRC Bathurst King of the Mountain Ultimate Showdown for 2017, and in your commentary team tonight is myself, Bernie Weemers, and Brock Cadday. Welcome back on board, Brock.
Thanks, Bernie. I can see it's the start of the night and our words are already starting to fly out the door, so that's comforting. It's good to be back again, and I'm really keen to commentate some V8s around Bathurst. It's a classic combo and one that just about any motorsport nut in the world will know.
Yeah, and it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. The way the league is classified, this is a fun race, but whenever there's cash involved, I'm not sure how much, well, it's always fun, but the guys will be taking it quite seriously, I think.
Yeah, well, with over $100 in prizes to be won tonight across the top three and the most improved driver, yeah, these guys are going to be fighting hard for that top three position and really pushing hard. The fuel restrictions that they have are going to limit things a bit, so their pit stop strategy is going to be really important coming into this race. So I think we're going to see some real interesting strategies unfold here, Bernie.
Yeah, we definitely will, and looking at it, 50 laps around here, 310 kilometres, fuel restriction 65%. I'm sure you've just said that. They're talking about a four-stopper, so I'm thinking they're going to get about 10 to 12 laps per tank around here, maybe less, maybe 8. So that'll be interesting to check out, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, like you said, Bernie, what I noticed there was you went from 12 to 10 to 8, and depending on the driver, how heavy they are on their accelerator and everything, it's going to be interesting to see who saves, who pushes, and who are the in-betweeners that, yeah, maybe go for that 10-lap mark instead of the 12 or the 8.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think we'll go conservative. Let's go for 10 and see how the guys go. We're halfway through qualifying here at the moment, folks. If you have a look at our quali standings so far, your top 10. Jason Bentz is in provisional pole with a 2:03.566. Brian Borg sitting second at the moment. Ross Rizzo third. Michael Hammond sitting in fourth. Fifth, Thomas Hines. Then we have Guy Leach sitting in sixth at the moment. Adam Briggs, you've seen Adam commentate up here. He's out there having a run, sitting in seventh. Philip Worley back into the 205s now, 205.417 in eighth. Ninth is Nick Fotiadis, I think that's right, and Richard Hunter, the hero, runs out our top 10.
Yeah, so, I mean, the times at the top there, Benson Borg are quite close, but then the times have just slipped down a bit. But we've got a few guys sitting in the fours here, so I think throughout the race we'll see some really awesome battle packs emerging, especially with, as we all know, how hard it is to pass over the top of the mountain. You've either got to shove your nose in there or just stick behind and wait for Conrod draft down there, down the inside of the chase.
Yeah, and we're expecting up to 62 drivers actually qualified tonight. I was told today we're going to get 56. At the moment in the room we have 44, and some more guys are just making their entrance now. So I guess it's better to make a late entrance than a really late entrance.
Yeah, well, they've still got a good 25 minutes of quality to go, so that's more than enough time to get out on track and set a couple of times. Mind you, at this point of the qualifying session, the track's going to probably start feeling a little so-so, and you'll probably see that the fastest of the laps have already been run.
Yeah, and speaking of so-so, folks, you're used to hearing his name on Monday Night Lights. We've got Alex McCullough streaming live once again tonight as he puts it into the wall. So if you want to watch his antics, you can go to twitch.tv, Top Split TV, simulcast it, so you can not only watch our live broadcast, you can also watch him from inside his cockpit, and you can even chat with him over Twitch TV as well if you wish.
Yeah, it's good to see that he'll be streaming it. It's always cool to see it from a driver's point of view when they're doing such a long race like this. And obviously, a lot of the guys and girls on Twitch do really well to sort of communicate with their fans and their viewers as well while they're driving. So that'll be cool to keep an eye on.
Yeah, it certainly will. And the other thing we've got going for the first time here tonight, folks, is we're simulcasting not only on YouTube tonight, we're also coming to you from facebook.com on our Facebook page. We're also over on Twitch tonight. We're on Periscope as well as Mixer. So if all goes well, we'll be across 5 different video platforms this evening, which should be quite exciting.
Yeah, well, you're certainly bridging all the gaps and making sure that we can be seen everywhere. So I think we'll hopefully get a lot of viewers. And like I said earlier, this is a combo that just about everybody in the world knows. V8 Supercar at Bathurst. I hope people take advantage of those streaming options because it's going to be a good one tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is. And what's up for grabs for these drives tonight, folks? They're racing for $100 prize money, and that's provided by the series sponsor here, Central Coast Subaru. You can find them Man Street in Gosford, New South Wales. So they've put up $100, and basically first prize they're going to get $50 worth of iRacing credits. Second prize will get $25 iRacing credits. Third, they're looking at $15 iRacing credits, and $10 will go to the most improved driver tonight, and that's the biggest mover. And there's going to be another $10 that's going to go to the most popular livery. Now, if you want to vote on that, you've got to come over to our YouTube chat channel, and you can tell us the car number you wish to vote for, and the one with the most votes will get $10 at the end of the night.
Well, you said it there, Bernie. There is a lot up for grabs tonight, and having a look through the field, there are some pretty nice liveries out there. A few retro ones. We've got the Mobile One, HSV Mobile 1 livery from Sandown, Bathurst, Gold Coast onwards in the V8 Supercars this year, roaming around the track as well. So plenty for the viewers to look at, and plenty for them to vote on come the end of the night.
Yeah, I noticed a few of the teams are back to running retro liveries, and which is great. I love retro liveries. But at the moment, looking at these qualifying times, there's only 2 in the 203s. We've got Brian Borg out there in the FAI Falcon as he gets it all wrong and gathers it all up again. But he's in high 203s. The other one is Jason Bentz, 203.461. And yeah, so it's really up to these two who's going to take pole position here tonight.
Yeah, I think so, Bernie. And Jason Bentz actually improved another 10th, so he's proving me wrong about the track slightly going off. He's just gone out there and shaved another 10th off his time. So he's going to make it hard for Borg to get up there, but there's still 20 minutes left in this session, and that's 20 minutes that basically I reckon Borg's just going to be going hell for leather trying to get that lap in to take pole position tonight.
Yeah, well, we're riding down the mountain with him. This lap will be pretty much nullified because he got it all wrong coming out of the cutting there a moment ago. But we'll ride with him on this lap if he does another lap, and we'll see how he goes. You can see him now weaving down Conrod Straight here, 270 kilometres an hour. It's just making sure those tyres are nice and clean and ready for a hot lap around here.
Yeah, he's got some balls doing it at that speed, but he kept control of the car, and that run through the chase was fairly nice. Got a little bit of oversteer there, something that can happen very easily, but what he wants is a good run out of this last corner, and that'll set him up nicely for this hopefully hot lap for him.
Yeah, and here he goes now onto this hot lap, and we'll see how he goes up to third. And his target time around here, of course, folks, we'll get that up as well, so we can just have a look at that quali lap, so you can see the time below and the time above. So 203.461's the target around here, Brock, and currently as he's coming up towards off Mountain Straights here into Griffins, it's 26 seconds. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do.
Yeah, well, he's pushing pretty hard. He's kept it clean. Hopefully he doesn't catch... There's a bit of traffic up the road here, so hopefully he doesn't catch up to them, and that'll obviously just ruin his lap. But he's kept it clean. It's looking nice and steady as he comes across the top here. Short shifted early through there. Nearly grazed the wall. That's exactly what you want. Very close to the wall there as well. Again, exactly what you want. That's what Bathurst's all about. The near misses, Bernie.
Yeah, and as he's just coming over now towards Skyline, we'll have a look at his lap. It's a 1:02 as he crosses Skyline, so he's got less than a minute to make it down the mountain. Now there's a car in front of him. This is going to compromise him, I think.
Yeah, and he ran a little bit wide there. Oh, and he's round. No, that one's gone, unfortunately. So he got a little bit wide coming out of the S's, and that ruined his run into the dipper, and I'd say that just unsettled his car.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's an understatement, but yeah, he's around and into the wall. But the top qualifying standings at the moment, Ross Rizzo, have a look at him. He's in the pits at the moment, 204.134. He's almost in the 203s. The other guy to keep an eye on tonight as this race progresses is Michael Hammond, and you can see him in the 007 entry tonight, and currently sitting in 4th position with a 204.182.
Yeah, Rizzo must feel pretty comfortable that he's going to keep his 3rd spot, or maybe he's just biding his time a bit, because Hammond is right on the back of him. You know, if they were crossing the finish line, that's like the end of cars, where Lightning McLean has his tongue out to finish the line in first. So Ross seems pretty confident. He's obviously a really good steerer. We've seen him in a couple of other series right up there, but maybe tonight he's feeling pretty comfortable in the V8. Obviously he's up there. He's only a couple of tenths off Brian Borg at the moment too, Bernie.
Yeah, and the field goes a long way down, all the way down to 44 at the moment are out there. Looking at people that are on the bubble of the top 10, we have Reece Keane just coming out now and sitting in 12th. Matt Clowett, he's also sitting in the pits in the 54. Got Scott Newton out here having a run in the, he's in the number 37. So currently in 14th as we see one of the monster cars go in just after the cutting there. Paul Woods is currently sitting in 15th position. Going down the field, we'll go down to about 20th. We've got Mark Hagaratz at the moment, provisional 16th. Damon Stockton, 17th in the other monster entry. Stephen Kirk, he's sitting in 18th. Then we've got Lachlan Smith, 19th, and Ken Attard, I think it might be Cohen Attard, he rounds out our top 20.
Yeah, it's a big field here tonight. And, you know, I don't discount anyone in this race. Qualifying, if you can put a good lap together, you can get pole position. But as we've seen in real life, as we've seen in the official 1000, as we see every time at Bathurst, if you can't keep consistent pace around this track, you're going to have a hard time.
You definitely are going to have a hard time, and 310 kilometres around here definitely is going to guarantee a hard time for some of these guys. As we see Ken Attard, I'm going to go at Attard coming across the line in that beautifully presented Ford Falcon out there, sponsored by 420 Racing.
Yeah, that's an interesting livery there. It's one, definitely not a retro one, but one that's a little bit out there with the KFC symbol on there too. So we'll see if that gets many or any votes, and that'll be interesting to see come the end of the night, whether the retro ones or the more creative ones like this one here are going to win out in our vote.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting, and I'm just having a look at the moment. We'll have a look at Nick Fotiadis' car when he comes out. The number 99 has actually got about 3 or 4 votes at the moment, so it's the only car that's got votes, but we'll see how the night progresses. Looking further down, Alex McCullough, as we were saying, he's in the pits at the moment. Normally broadcasts or commentates on Skip Barber Monday Night Lights, sitting down there in 27th, and his best time, a 2:07.930.
Yeah, and Bernie, that time is nothing to frown at. Getting a good lap around this track is extremely hard. There are so many spots where the track can sort of just jump out at you. You know, a wall, you're kind of pushing hard and the wall just jumps out at you a little bit. That, you know, those times, they're still well respectable. And, you know, you got Jason Benson, Brian Borg in the 203s, but as some of my ASM teammates would say, they're aliens.
Yeah, they certainly are. I think the best I've ever done around is probably about a 2:09, but that was haven't turned a lap for quite some time. Just having a look for another one of our RRTV commentators, that's Adam Briggs. He's currently sitting in 7th position in the Monster sponsored Ford Falcon there. His time, a 2:04.388.
Yeah, that's a nice time. About a second off Vence, but Vence has done obviously a pretty ripper time up the top there, and that only puts him 4/10 off Brian Borg. So from second through to seventh, eighth, through to seventh there, that's going to be a real nice battle pack throughout the whole race if they could keep up a good pace. And then there's obviously a bit of a jump back into 8th place, about a second back there. But in saying that, the times are close through from 8th place through to about 13th. So like I was saying earlier, we're going to have all these little battle packs during the race that are just going to create some awesome racing for us to enjoy and commentate on, and for the viewers at home to have a look at and enjoy as well, and make their own comments on.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting. The pace will be fast because as far as safety cars go, basically safety car is going to be activated only if the track's blocked. Otherwise, it's going to be game on. They're going to continue racing. However, keep an eye out. There will be one random safety car coming out in the second half of the race tonight, and that's going to be unless excessive yellows have been brought out. Ooh, so we see Adam Briggs there going straight into one of the Vodafone entries. The other interesting thing is if a safety car comes out in the first 5 laps, no matter what, they will race to lap 10 minimum before another safety car comes out. So it's going to be pretty interesting racing, I think, tonight.
Look, the guys running this race have done a really good job to try and make it, as you said earlier, a fun race. And I can tell you from a driver's point of view, seeing that safety car symbol come up on your screen from iRacing is dreadful. You don't want to be stuck behind a safety car going 80 or 90 kilometres an hour. You want to be going at 280 or 290 kilometres an hour. And I hope that we don't have too many safety cars, except for that, obviously that one random one in the second half of the race, and that we can just let these guys race hard, battle it out, and see who comes out on top at the end of the night.
Yeah, exactly right. And a few people were asking me basically about FNRC and how they could have got a seat in tonight's race. Well, basically FNRC, they stands for Friday Night Racing Club, and it's a fantastic league that's come under the radar. And basically every Friday night they go and they race at Bathurst. They race in a different car every week, and they only know which car they're going to run in. Basically, within that week, the league organiser, Brian Sheridan, lets them know, and then they can go out and have a run. They're all racing for points, however, and then the top people, they get a Guernsey in the finale, which is, of course, tonight's race, the Bathurst 300 in the V8 Supercar. So if anyone out there wants to get involved in the league, definitely check out Brian Sheridan, because I know a lot of guys like racing in it.
Yeah, well, as we can see tonight, we've got 44 guys on track right now doing laps and qualifying. 44 people coming in for a league race, that's massive in Australia. Unfortunately, a lot of our leagues, they sort of peter off a little bit towards sort of the middle to the end of them, but FNRC have done a great job. Probably the variety and the fact that it is just for a bit of fun, you're not playing for too much, means that people want to keep coming back and obviously keep having fun, because you can't take games too seriously, otherwise you're going to send yourself insane.
Yeah, definitely, and our chat channel is lighting up as it always does, so thank you to everybody out there. And yeah, you're right, folks, it does clash with the AOSC on Friday nights, but most of the guys probably don't race in the AOSC that run in this club league, this whatever you call it, league.
Yeah, the Fun Race League. I might even have to have a look at it next season and see what I'm doing. If I'm not commentating AOSC, I'll probably jump in here and give it a shot, because Bathurst is probably my favourite track. There are a couple that might rival it, but not by much. And driving different cars around here is a unique challenge, especially when you don't have much time to practice and really understand the car track combinations. So it's a really fun idea, and quite unique as well. Like, you don't see many leagues that come up with a single track but different cars, as opposed to different tracks in a single car.
Yeah, that's right, and I think it's because everyone loves Bathurst, so all the guys that run here just love turning laps at Bathurst. See David Farrelly out here at the moment, sitting in 38th position, and he's yet to his time at 2:08.971. If we look at down in the slower cars, 42, well, they're in a 2:11, and that's Jeff Vincent and Brendan McCarthy. He's did a 2:12.116.
Yeah, so these guys, they may have something else up their sleeve, or that may be their pace around the mountain. Like I said before, you know, if you can make a quali lap around here and turn up to race a 50-lap race, you know, you're doing well anyway. It's respectable to be able to race around here for that long. So good on them for coming out. And, you know, you can see there are a few guys sitting around that time as well, so they'll be battling for them too. Or maybe they just had to, I know Gerard said in the driver chat that he had to head off, so he may well be back and just didn't get the time to cut that lap.
Yeah, we'll see how they go. 7 minutes 43 to go. They've had pretty much an hour of qualifying here tonight. We've jumped in for the last half an hour of it, and we'll be here to the end, plus post-race interviews. We'll also be jumping across to Alex McCullough. Is he doing a lap? I can't tell. I don't think he is. So, yes, he is. He's in the green entry tonight. He should be driving a top split paint job on that car.
Yeah, he should be, but it looks like he's got a pretty good time on the border, 2:07.9. I mean, that's still not bad around Bathurst. I don't think I could go that fast, even in the weather conditions. Me and a V8, we don't go well together, Bernie.
Yeah, neither do I. Me and V8, well, it's a bit like, I don't know, something I can't think of a quote on a Saturday night.
It's all right, Bernie. It's nearly Christmas time. All our brains are starting to wind down through the year to relax and enjoy our holidays.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at the track tonight, 6.14 kilometres. And of course, it's coming from Bathurst, New South Wales, in Australia for all our overseas viewers. And 50 laps. Looking at the weather, it's partly cloudy out there, 32 degrees Celsius or 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So a nice hot day out there tonight.
Yeah, it is out there. Pretty hot out there at the moment. So we'll see how the drivers can handle it over the race, managing tyres and that sort of thing. That's always a biggie here at Mount Panorama. And generally speaking, during the pit stops, the fuel takes long enough that you can take new tyres anyway. So be a matter to see if they'll decide to sprint through or just save their tyres a bit, save their fuel, and try and last those that longer stint as we were talking about before, Bernie.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting to see, and it's going to be interesting to see how often they take tyres, because if you're running 8 laps around here, 8 to 10 laps, do you throw tyres on it all the time, or do you only do it every second stop?
Well, I mean, every second stop is quite a GT thing to do, but in saying that, if you're only putting 8 laps of fuel in, that's not much time standing still, so you may well just decide to, like you said, go every second stop, because you might do 16 to 20 laps on one set of tyres, but that can be easily done in a V8 at Bathurst. Or easily, probably not the right word to use, because it can be quite tough depending on how hard you rag the tyres, Bernie.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it, isn't it? And it'll be interesting to see how they look after their tyres and what sort of strategy all these drivers employ. We can see now Brian Borg coming out to do another hot lap. He's improved. He's down to a 2:03.792 at the moment. So he's around about 3.2 tenths, I guess you could say, off provisional pole. He's got 4 minutes 30 left as he comes across the start-finish line now, and he starts another hot lap.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how he goes here. He's only done 12 laps in this for what's been 55 minutes now, so you'll have this lap and the next to try and improve again. But he's closing that gap on Bent. But the question is if he'll actually be able to close it enough to actually surpass that. I don't know if Bent's out on track. He hasn't appeared on my screen at the moment, so he may not be actually.
No, he's not. He's pretty much done about 10 laps. Got that provisional pole, and he's relaxing at the moment. So riding up the mountain, up to the cutting now with Borg. You can see him working the wheel. Second gear, he'll short shift. No, he doesn't. Most guys some guys short shift up there, but he didn't. And so we come up over the top of the mountain once again.
Yeah, through the grate here, you come across through McPhillamy, mega fast. He's hitting about 210 k's an hour, and down through Brock Skyline. Beautiful piece of track here from McPhillamy through Skyline to the S's is just one big, beautiful part of the track I absolutely love. And coming down into the depot, he's done really well. His lines are looking good. He's steady. The car is not wiggling under him or anything. It's looking quite good, Bernie.
Yeah, and as he comes down to Forest Elbow here, 1 minute 23 is the time at Forest Elbow down Conrod Straight now. He's got around about 33 seconds to see if he can actually improve on that time.
Yeah, and screaming down Conrod Straight gives you a second to gather your thoughts and get ready, you know, sort of decide where you're going to brake coming into the chase and how hard you want to brake. But again, no locking up there. He's taken a bit of curb, but that hasn't upset him too much. Nothing coming out of the chase there. Beautifully done, no wiggle or anything. It's looking like a steady lap as he comes through the last corner here. Doesn't get, he got a little bit of that curb, but not too much. And he comes across the line. What does he do? Doesn't improve by the looks of it.
No, he did a 2:03.912, but that, to me, that looked like a pretty clean lap.
Yeah, that was really well done. I honestly thought if, without having the live timing on my screen, that looked like it could have been faster. It was beautifully done, and no lock-ups, no mistakes. It was just, he kept the car straight, and it looked fast to me.
Yeah, it certainly did, and we can see Alex McCullough there now. He's on another fast lap and sitting down in 30th at this stage. So we see Borgie just spin it.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I hope Borg jumps out of the way before McCullough comes around there. But the session has about a minute and a half left, so this could well be McCullough's last lap, but he looks like he's rolled out of it. May have made a mistake at the cutting there, Bernie.
Yeah, sorry, I was just looking at the chat channel there.
No, that's all right. Yeah, so he looks like he's rolled out of it a bit here. Borg has gone back to the pits. Just running through, we've got Michael Hammond still out on track. Hasn't managed to improve on his time as of yet, so he may still have one last shot this coming lap to get it done in that 007 Commodore.
Yeah, he's on a fast one at the moment, and then we'll stick with him as he goes through this lap and see if he can improve. So his time was a 2:04.182. Be interesting to see if he can actually try and crack into the 2:03s. He's only about 1.8 tenths of a second behind.
Yeah, well, he's not that far, and you know, you look at tenths and you think, well, that's not that much, but in motorsport, half a tenth is everything sometimes. So you can see he's pushing hard. He's gotten right out close to the wall. He's not nicked that curb there. That's good. That had unsettled the car too much, but he looks like he's pushing very hard, trying to at least pip Ros Rizzo, because those guys, they're separated by about half a tenth actually, Bernie.
Yeah, it's hardly anything in it at all, is it? That's probably the tongue on Lightning McQueen you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So Michael Hammond might need to stick a foot out the front of the car to try and get it across the line first and get that extra half a tenth to pip Rizzo and go up into third on the grid.
Yeah, and we're riding with him as we come down Conrod Straight again. Let's have a look at the telemetry, what a top speed is around here. He's up to 289, 290, ran about 290 kilometres an hour as he went into the chase, down to 112 kilometres in second gear. So he's coming out of that now. We'll have a look at this lap. He's a 158 as he goes into the pits. Man.
Yeah, obviously decided that lap wasn't to be, so he'll be starting from fourth on the grid as the session has actually the checkered flag has waved, so now we're just going to have to wait for those guys who are still out on laps to come back around and finish that off for us. So we've got, I think, Guy Leach is on a lap at the moment, just coming through Forest Elbow, Bernie.
Yeah, and while that, we'll keep Guy up there, and while that's going on, let's start going through the grid here because it's a big one, 44 drivers. So at the moment, well, Jason Bence takes pole position with a 2:03.461. He'll be joined on the front row by Brian Borg. Starting on the second row tonight, we have Ros Rizzo, his time a 2:04.134, and Michael Hammond, he'll be starting on the outside next to him. Third row tonight, we have Thomas Hines, and he's joined by Guy Leach. We can see Guy now having a run. He may improve, and if he does, I'm going to skip it so we don't have to recall it. Adam Briggs, he'll start from 7th position. Eugene Blurton, he will start in 8th. Out of 9th tonight, we've got Philip Worley. Nick Fotiadis is starting out of 10th. Out of 11th is Gary Cousins. In your top 12, Richard Hunter.
Yeah, so from 13th place, you've got Reece Keane, and out of 14th, Matthew Clowett. 15th is Paul Wood, and 16th is Scott Newton. 17th, you've got Mark Hagaret. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Out of 18th, you've got Lachlan Smith. 19th, Damon Stockton. 20th, Cohen Attard. 21st, Steve Kirk. 22nd, Corey J. Ott. 23rd, Dennis Fiedler. 24th, Stephen Williams. 25th, David Trevathan. And 26th, Joey Baldwin.
Yeah, out of 27th tonight, we have Craig Ents back. I think that's how you pronounce it. Luke May, he'll start out of 28th. Out of 29th is Darcy May. Starting in 30th is Alex McCullough. Out of 31st is Les Peck, and then we have Gavin Sadler starting in 32nd. Paul Nichols, he'll start in 33rd. He's joined on the grid with Chris Poley starting next to him. George Fullerton will start in 35th. 36th is Daniel Harding. Starting out of 37th is Brian Sheridan. David Farrelly out of 38th with Tim Awima starting out of 39th. Christopher Foster, he'll start in 40th. Jeff Dean out of 41st. 42nd is Jared Daly. Then we have Jeff Vincent in 43rd, and Brendan McCarthy rounds out our field of 44 drivers here tonight.
Yeah, so that's good timing, Bernie. They're actually just getting the race lined up now, I think. So we're in for a long one tonight, but I think we're going to see some awesome racing, and there are some good names in here, some good steers, and there's been some tight times through the timesheets. So I'll be interested to see who ends up on top and getting that $50 iracing credit.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting, won't it? We can see the drivers now just queuing up down there in 30th. You can see Alex and Les lining up right up coming into Murray's, and of course it goes all the way around to the start-finish straight.
Yeah, that's a big field there, isn't it, Bernie? They're curling all the way around that last turn, so that's going to make it a bit difficult for those guys, sort of. About 27th back, because they're all sort of going to have to accelerate, then put on the anchors again to get around that last turn. So that will probably clear a bit of a gap between the top half and the bottom half of the field right there.
Yeah, it certainly will. And, what do you do if you're starting right on that corner? You don't want to loop it, do you? I'm just trying to find our pole positions setter at the moment. And I'm having an old man moment at the moment, would you believe?
I think Bence is not on the track at the moment. Borg's out there with Rizzo and Hammond, but Bence is just biding his time at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit funny because the way the telemetry works, it's got Borg down there in 40th, and that happens until the telemetry catches up, and then all settles back down. But we can see the 17 out there, Brian Borg. And we're just waiting now for Jason Bence. And Jason might be having a nap,
Yeah, well, he stopped driving pretty early on in that session, and I think he only did 10 laps in the end, so he's probably just getting a coffee and relaxing.
Well, he's going to miss a start because we're under starters' orders here, so a bit of an upset already, and we're underway. Brian Borg, the only one on the front grid, got a bit of a slow start. We've got this 007 on the outside and the 784 on the inside as they come down into Hell Corner for the first time.
Yeah, Borg's cleared out a bit there. He's made a good run. Looks like second and third there, they're all running line astern, but watch for a move coming into turn 2. Having a look down the rest of the field, it doesn't look like there's been any incidents in the back of the field coming around, so that's good to see. Still a little bit of shuffling going around. I think somebody's blown their engine into turn 2, Bernie.
Wow. It's, you can see him just limping coming up the mountain, so that's a bad start for him. But at the moment, Brian Borg has the lead. He's already pulled out about 3 car lengths back to Michael Hammond. Michael's got Ross Rizzo behind him. Then we've got Thomas Hinn sitting in 4th, 5th, Guy Leach, and then Adam Briggs just a little bit offline as he was coming up towards the great, I guess, Philip Wally sitting in 7th, 8th, Eugene Blurton 9th, Richard Hunter, and rounding out your top 10 is Gary Cousins.
Yeah, so they're all there. everything looks pretty nice and relaxed here at the moment. They've all sort of settled down and gotten in their single file. That's not to say things aren't going to get crazy next lap, but luckily nobody's done anything crazy and created that block on the track to bring a safety car at the moment. Hopefully we keep it that way, Bernie.
Yeah, and we've had a few guys not actually take to the start. Our pole sitter, Jason Bentz, just go down. He's actually now starting, so he's started out of the pits. I reckon he was having a nap. Daniel Harding also down there in 40th. He's just coming down the mountain with a lot of damage to the left-hand front guard there.
Yeah, I've just brought Jason Benz up on my screen, so this will be interesting for him. He had the best pace of the field in qualifying, but like you said, just had a sleep or something and didn't quite make it to the start. So I guess one thing tonight will be interesting to see is can he claw his way back through the pack in 50 laps and make it and try fight for those top positions.
It'll be definitely interesting to see how he goes, that's for sure. But at the moment, Brian Borg is taking this race by the scruff of the neck. Already 1.5 seconds is the gap. Usually him and Jason the only ones on the 203s, and then it continues on here. You see Thomas Hines at the moment in 4th position, and he's got Guy Leach behind him and Ross Rizzo in front of him.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a battle pack there, like I was mentioning earlier. They're developing, and it's going to make for interesting racing. Considering Borg is just absolutely checked out at the moment, it'll be interesting to see what these guys do. Hammond's sort of created a bit of a gap there on Rizzo, but like you said, you've got Hins in there, and he's in a bit of a sandwich with Leach right up behind him, and Rizzo not too far in front of him either, so he's going to have to be a bit careful he doesn't get somebody running him up the backside or running into someone's backside.
Yeah, exactly right. So we're coming down now into the S's, down to the Dipper for the second time. We're on the nose cam here with Thomas Hins. You can just see that drop off, and TV doesn't really do it justice. It is quite a large drop off.
Oh yeah, it is crazy. Having been to the track and got hot laps around there and a V8 with Russell Ingall, you won't believe it until you've actually walked the track and seen it in person. It's the hill that the Mount Panorama is on is insane to walk up and down, and even more insane to drive up and down. Oh
yeah, well I walked up the mountain last time I was up at Bathurst, and I didn't think I was going to survive the effort.
Yeah, it certainly takes it out of you, that's for sure. Sorry, we've just had someone spun around. I think it was at Forest Elbow, but I can't find who in my data here.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. It's a bit hard to keep track of the whole field. They're spread out quite a long way at the moment. If we look down, there's another car. One of the Logitech entries has just spun as well, and we've got Dennis Fiedler around in the Ovaltine entry.
Yeah, so it's all happening at the start of the race, whether they've been pipped around or they've just made a bit of a mistake, although I did see a bit of damage on one of those Commodores, so he may have gotten a bit of a tap into the chase there.
Yeah, we're just having a look at the West Coast Subaru replay here. We'll just have a look. Yeah, he's pretty much done it himself as he's just come out of Keltec's chase there, spun it around and parked it just off. Well, you won't want to sit there for too long, but he's just keeping it still while all the field goes past.
Yeah, which is the smartest thing to do. You don't want to burn up the tyres and crash into a heap of other people in your race and theirs. Just wait there, they'll make their way around you and you can get back out there and keep racing.
Yeah, and at the moment, Jason Bentz in the Nissan Livery Holden is coming up on the 069, and he's claimed another scalp up to 27th and climbing.
Yeah, he's pushing hard, and definitely won't be giving up until he gets back up the front there and can take on Brian Borg. But he's done well to make it up that far, considering he started from pit lane, and that's in the space of now just about 3 laps. So he's got some real good speed, and I'd say he's not afraid to shove it down the inside and make up those positions pretty quickly, Bernie.
Yeah, we're riding down the mountain now with Bentz. He's right up behind Chris Polly at the moment as he puts it on the inside. You don't want to do that too many times. I think Chris saw him coming. What do you reckon?
Yeah, hair standing on end there. That could have gone horribly wrong, either thanks to the kink in the wall at Forest Elbow or, old mate Chris turning in there, and that would have been a game over, Red Rover there. So luckily, they both had their wits about them just as Chris has gone off the track, and this is going to be ugly. And he's made contact with the number 51 of Les Peck. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate, wasn't it? We were riding on the roof can there, and we'll go back and have a look. He pretty much had nowhere to go, did he? Once he got on that grass, it's just you're a passenger from there on in.
Well, that's it. Yeah, get on the grass there. You know, on the tarmac, it's hard enough to wipe off speed at the speed you're going. And unfortunately, he was trying to do the right thing and let Bence through, but it led to hitting Les Peck there, unfortunately. So hopefully, neither of them have too much damage and they can push on and keep fighting for those prizes.
Yeah, and I don't think Les even saw him coming, but Jason did. Braked early, and poor Les Peck in the Venom entry goes around. And tell you what, that Red Bull entry is striking as well, up until it got that big scratch down the side of it.
Yeah, it's a nice looking livery. I can imagine in real life that'd be a nice chrome red on the sides there and on the top. I'd like to see that one done. Red Bull Racing Australia, I hope you're listening.
Yeah, exactly. It would be awesome, wouldn't it, if they took something like that and applied it from simulated racing or iRacing. And also, folks, we are looking for the best presented car viewer's choice. So if you want to vote, come over to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/RRTV live. Go on the chat channel there and tell us who you think should get that prize of $10. And of course, I'd like to welcome all the viewers if they're watching us on Twitch, Facebook, Mixer, Periscope, or the normal guys here, or the regulars here on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, welcome to any new viewers, as Bernie was saying, and it's always good to have our regular viewers back again. I'm just having a look at Adam Briggs, actually, one of our fellow commentators, and he's just in this little battle pack with Guy Leach and Thomas Hinz. He's at the back of it, but he gets up quite close, so it might be interesting to watch where these guys go. They're all quite close there, while the top three there have just sort of cleared out a bit, and they're just running their own race at the moment.
Yes, Adam's up one position at the moment, sitting in sixth, and see how he goes. He's coming up into Griffins now, up the hill into Cutting shortly. His last lap time was a 2:05.896. Now the leader, Brian Borg, he's now lapping in the 2:04s with a fastest lap, 2:04.422. His last lap at 2:04.915.
That's some very good pace, race pace, that's for sure. He's obviously clearing out a little bit there, but Hammond actually went faster by 0.3 last lap, so, pardon me, he's finding a little bit of speed and maintaining, if not sort of pulling Borg in a little bit, Bernie.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting strategy they have to go for. They can't bank on a safety car until the last half of this race. And, so what do? Do you get out there and put the pressure on each other, or do you just cruise and keep yourself in a good position for when that safety car potentially does come out?
Yeah, well, these guys, it looks like Brian Borg and Michael Hammond, they're just sort of cruising out front, running their own races. Same with Ross Rizzo, they're all in the money spots at the moment. As Guy Leach, he's just pulled out aside Thomas Hinz, and they're going side by side, and Guy Leach has got him easy done down into the chase, Bernie. Yeah,
so nice move there for Guy Leach in that beautiful VR46 entry. Moves up to fourth, Thomas Hinz down to fifth. Adam Briggs, though, right behind Thomas, and he wants to take a bite out of him now.
Yeah, he's just sitting there waiting to strike, and if he can get close enough on the next couple of straights, he may be able to take it down the inside at turn 2. But I would dare say that Thomas Hinz is going to want to take another shot at Guy Leach and try to grab that position back that's been taken away from him.
Yeah, and Adam Briggs, he drives for DPR, as one of the viewers let us know. And I'm going to have to get a list of all the teams and the drivers, I think. But I was just thinking about Jason Bence here. Starting from the pits, which he did, he's already up to... where is he? I'm trying to find him. there he is, up to 17th. Now, it could be an interesting strategy here, right? Because they're running for money. The biggest mover of the race gets $10 iRacing credits. The winner gets $50 iRacing credits, and second gets 25. So maybe he's decided to go for the challenge and see if he can not only pocket the biggest mover, but also some of the podium prize money as well.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Bernie. And as we can see, he's making quick work of all these positions. Considering he was down in 44th only 5 or 6 laps ago, he's now up in 17th place. 16th place actually is what my timing's showing me, and he's not stopping anytime soon. He is pushing hard at the moment, so he may well get his a good lot of iRacing credit to spend on some of the new content coming in the next year or so, Bernie.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But speaking of stopping anytime soon, well, they will be in the next 5 laps, I'd say, maybe 7, because they're running at 65% fuel.
Yeah, so we're getting starting to get close to that fuel window. So it'll be interesting to see who pits first, who pits last, and obviously all the guys in between. But it'll be the guys who pit first and last that'll really tell you what sort of strategies can be run, because they're the risk takers and pioneers that'll convince other people to take those sorts of strategies if they work for them.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. We're sort of a little bit of no man's land until the first pit stops, and we'll know exactly what the fuel range is here. You can see Matthew Cloward at the moment in the Waxit entry, sitting in 11th, up 3 positions. He's battling it out with Gary Cousins and Paul Woods.
Yeah, just with a pretty big moment off of turn 1 there, but he's drawing up onto the back of those 2 guys, and he's keeping them honest. But I think Gary Cousins is keeping Paul Wood honest there as well. He's right up behind him. And I don't think he'll go for it down here. To be a bit too risky. Might lock a break and knock them both off the track. I'm sure Matthew Cloward would love to see that. Just 2 easy positions, but not to no avail for him, unfortunately. But as they come through the cutting here, it looks like he's just going to tuck in behind for the top of the mountain. As Paul Wood makes a mistake, he's locked up into the cutting, but everything stays the same. Gary Cousins is just going to stick it behind for the mountain. We'll see what he does coming down into Forest Elbow and Conrod, I reckon, Burton.
Yeah, and that's the second time Paul's locked up the fronts. He did that coming into to Griffin's back there, and we'll see how he goes. I'll tell you what, you don't want to have front locking issues when you come into this part of the circuit, down into the S's and especially into the dipper, because they do brake pretty hard down here, don't they? And you've got to time that as he just brakes a bit more of a brake lockup. But look at Paul coming down the mountain. He's so quick.
Yeah, he's gained a heck of a lot of time on Gary Cousins here. So if he gets in that draft, which it looks like he's got a great run as well, he may be able to slip down the inside come the chase. But Paul Wood locked the brake again at Forest Elbow too, so he may have a problem with his brake bias or even his pedals at home, a hardware problem that's not making the brakes as nice to use. It looks like here that Matthew Cloward isn't going to make it down the inside. He's just going to have to stick behind for another lap, but his pace across the top of the mountain seems to be very, very fast, Bernie.
Certainly does, and I've got to get a pencil. I'm going to go old school here, so give me a moment and I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, no worries, Bernie. This is a bit mysterious. So, yeah, as we look at this battle here with Paul Wood, Gary Cousins, Matthew Cloward is still quite close up behind Cousins there, and he's just going to hang with him. He had another moment coming off of turn 1 there, so perhaps something wrong with the setup, or perhaps just pushing a little bit too hard to try and get that run onto the straight. And of course, if you slip it out a bit wide there, you ruin your run onto the straight because you don't get that ideal amount of acceleration. You get a bit of wheel spin. In front, Paul Wood has actually stretched that gap a little bit again, so they're fairly spread out now, but as we saw before, Cloward has good pace over the top of the mountain here. Wood, another lock-up coming into the cutting. He made the corner, but it's not going to be good for his tyres with that sort of thing happening there, Bernie.
Yeah, so it'd have quite a bit of front brake bias on that car, I would suggest, by the lockups. Now, I understand some guys do that because they prefer to have that happen to them than the back end coming around on them.
Yes, yeah, although I believe that the V8 actually works better when you have that, more push towards your rear brake bias. In most of the setups I've run, your brake bias doesn't really venture too far over 50%. And that's to avoid, I believe, that front locking, because obviously you've got such a heavy car with so much speed, you just don't want it to push too hard down on those front tyres and just ruin the tyres there.
Yeah, well, we've got Paul Woods now. He's starting to push on the back of Richard Hunter. That's how quick Paul is coming down the mountain. He's right on the back of him now as they come into the chase. And we're 7 laps into this race. What's he going to do? He's not going to make a move yet, not close enough. And you can see he's really using his head there to make sure he gets through cleanly. Jason Bents, for any fans out there, he's up to 14th position and moving forwards.
Sorry, Bernie, Brian Borg's just pitted on lap 9 of the race, so he is in for his first fuel stop.
We'll see how long it takes him. And we've had a few other guys already pit as well. On lap 7 we had Scott Newton. He came in and did 9.1 seconds. Brendan McCarthy lap 7 as well. And so did Jeff Vincent on lap 7. So it's looking like at the moment they're getting around about 7 or 8 laps. But Brian's come out and Jason Bents is right behind him.
Yeah, so this will be interesting. I don't believe Bents has pitted yet. He would have fallen down a bit more, but in the scheme of things for the rest of the race, if Bents can get past Borg, it may well play with his confidence a little bit, because that Bents is saying, I'm here, I'm coming for you. Just because you're in first now doesn't mean you'll be in first in 40 laps time. So this will be interesting. It's mind games as well as you're racing hard out on the circuit, Bernie.
Yeah, it's also showing Bents what sort of pace he's got out there for the against the race leader, and we'll see what sort of time he makes, although Bents has dropped off quite a bit. Maybe he's trying to conserve fuel to get down the mountain. They must be running pretty dry. What's going on? He just lifting as he comes down the mountain. He's right behind the 22 at the moment, and the 22, that is Jeff Vincent, 1 lap down as he gets out of his way.
Yeah, Jeff Vincent's, he was going very slow. Somebody went down the inside of him, coming through McPhillamy into the skyline, and I had heart in my throat for that moment, because that was that usually results in a crash. So well done by both guys. Obviously, Jeff's just trying to get out of the way, and they did well to execute that move without anybody getting pushed off into the wall or anything like that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I really like Jeff's livery there. He's running an Anzac Day livery on that Holden, and it looks very, very striking indeed.
Yeah, always good to respect our Anzacs and let the world know that we care for them and that we're always thinking of them, Bernie.
Oh, exactly right. And at the moment, what I'm doing for old school folks is I'm putting down how many votes we've got. So at the moment, Adam Briggs in the number 72, he's just had 1 vote for the best livery, and but the 99 at the moment, they've had 3 votes, and that's Nick Fatiadis, I think it is, in the number 99 Pertec entry. So folks, keep your best paint job nominations coming in, and we'll see who gets it.
Yeah, there are some good ones out here, and I'll use the word you used before, Bernie, because that was a good one. They're striking. They catch your eye, and like that HSV Mobil 1 livery, as well as the that one there on the 99, that Pertec Ambrose throwback. There are some great liveries out there tonight.
Certainly are, and I'll tell you one livery that needs fixing, and it's just been fixed now, is Jeff Dean. He came in and the whole front of that car was absolutely destroyed. Yeah,
that's not what we like to see, but glad it's 5 fast repairs tonight, isn't it, Bernie?
Yeah, they've got 5 fast repairs, 50 incident points. The real focus on this race tonight, folks, is for all the drivers to pretty much have a fantastic fun time. And, I guess it's their farewell, let's celebrate Christmas party. Yeah,
it's certainly going to test them, but like you said, it's a good bit of fun as well around Bathurst, as we have Hammond come into the pits. Now, I don't know about on your screen, Bernie, but Ross Rizzo is in the pit lane now, but he's flashing on my screen, so his internet connection is being a bit of a pain at the moment for him.
It's no good. Hopefully that'll sort itself out, which means now Guy Leach takes the lead. He's got Thomas Hinds right behind him. These guys are stretched out to 10 laps at the moment, and we'll see when they're coming in. And so we've got Thomas Hinds, Adam Briggs. He's just had another vote towards best paint for his car. Then we've got Phil Worley. He's coming in 4th. 5th is Richard Hunter, and up 6 positions from where he started. 6th, Paul Woods. 7th, Gary Cousins. Reece Keane sitting in 8th. Then we've got Brian Borg, who has stopped, sitting in 9th position, and then Cohen Attard rounds out our top 10. Jason Bentz at the moment is in the pits taking service, and he'll start moving down the field once again.
Yeah, so that's interesting to see, Bernie, because Borg decided to pit on lap 8. Now, whether he was close to out of fuel or just decided to pit then, get the fuel on board and get out there again, we're not too sure. But I reckon those guys that are starting to run, lap 10, 11, 12, they're probably going to start running pretty ragged soon and on, the fumes of an oily rag.
Yeah, we can just see Jeff Fullerton there getting it a little bit wrong as he's coming up the mountain there. And who's he got behind him? There's another beautiful Red Bull livery, the number 38, Paul Nichols. And tell you what, those Red Bull cars should get some votes.
Yeah, I think so. That's that silver on red and somebody's just put it in the wall big at Sulman and Reed. Not sure who that was, Bernie, but it was a Ford Falcon, and they've just absolutely whacked it into the wall, and that'll be unfortunately, they'll probably go down a lap or two with towing there. Just trying to find what driver that was. But that was a huge crash just in the background of the shot there.
Yeah, we're having a look now. That was George Fullerton. We saw him go pretty wide, and he's been having turning issues, I think, because he had the same problem coming into Forest Elbow. As we see him come up now, he went wide through the cutting, but it's a bit tricky here because there's a bit of a bump on the inside, and if you don't short shift or watch it, it can throw you out as he's just gone across the bump there. I don't think that's what's caused his problem, though.
Yeah, it just looked like he pulled basically a Greg Murphy almost, if you can remember back. I think that was 2013, where Murph basically, he just slid wide and sort of miscalculated his speed in the corner and basically put it in the wall, and the car was toast after that. And it's just another one of those moments where obviously it's so easy to do at that corner too. I've done it too many times to admit that I'm proud of. But it can happen to anyone, and unfortunately it's happened to him. But with his fast repairs after towing, he'll be back out there again and racing. So that's the good part of this FNRC series, is that they want people to get back out there. They don't want people just disconnecting because they think their race is over.
Exactly right. And yeah, that this will probably show my age, but that reminded me of God, I had his name now, I've forgotten it. That's really showing my age. It'll come back to me in a minute. I was thinking of the Channel 9 Camaro with Kevin Bartlett, who went in over there and actually put it on the roof, I think it was, and slid it down that part of the circuit.
Yeah, that takes a good effort there. I think I have seen that crash. Obviously, I wasn't around to witness it firsthand, but I've seen videos of it.
Yeah. So, welcome to all our overseas viewers. We've got one that said hi from Spain. I know George Gibbs has joined us. He's a regular from the United States, so it's great to see you with us once again, George.
Yeah, it's good to see. George is a great supporter of us Aussie channels over here, and it's always great to see him come along and encourage people to like our streams and keep watching. And he's always complimenting us, so it's a real good confidence booster for us as well. So thanks, George.
Yeah, it certainly is. And if you like what you see on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. If you're wondering, Brock, what that thumbs down is, we actually got that thumbs down with 5 hours before the broadcast started. That's how much we must suck.
Yeah, wow. Apparently people want us streaming 24/7, so I'm sorry we can't provide that to you guys, but that one thumbs down, somebody's out to get us, Bernie, I reckon.
I reckon 5 hours before we went live. But anyway, you get that. But we can see now Matt Clowett here. He's coming down right on the back of Damon Stockton here in the 898. Damon went very deep under brakes into the chase. He's trying to hunt down Jason Bentz, who's sitting in 14th at the moment. And, you know, as Jason works his way up, he's going to find it tougher because, of course, the guys he's passing are going to get faster and they'll know their way around a V8 supercar far more.
Well, that's it. And, you know, when you get up to your drivers like Hiddens, Briggs, Leach, you know, and also, of course, Borg, there's going to be no room for error there. And Matthew Clowett just had a little bit of a moment coming out of turn one, but kept it out of the wall and kept going. He's been having a bit of trouble there. Sorry for the side note there. Just saw him fly across my screen. So, yeah, I think Bentz I think he'll make it up there. Definitely top 10. Top 5 will be the real question, and whether he can take the win. There's still a solid 37 laps left in this race, so anything can happen between now and the end.
Yeah, and it's heating up in the best livery award at the moment. We've got Adam Briggs on 3 on the 72. The 99 also has 3, and Brian Borg in that beautiful FAI Falcon has just got his first vote.
Yeah, that FAI Shell Falcon is a beautiful looking livery. I'm honestly amazed at how well some of the artists that are in this game and around the world can do with these liveries. They make them look so real and so true to life that you know, you put them on your car and you feel like you're actually racing the car at Bathurst from all those years ago. Yeah,
exactly right. And the field's getting quite spread out. We're going quite deep down here. Craig Ants back in the 39. He's chasing down Les Peck just ahead of him in the Venom entry. We saw Les, of course, get that massive T-bone coming into the chase, and I bet you that would have caught his attention.
Yeah, I think if he wasn't quite awake and he was just in auto mode, that would have woken him up a little bit. But coming from that angle, yeah. You're not expecting to have to look left about 90 degrees to see a car coming in to smack you in the side. So hopefully in his pit stop, he's used that fast repair and now he's just back out doing his thing.
Yeah, and he's just cranking out the laps there. And see, speaking of doing their thing, Alex McCullough at the moment, folks. Let's have a look at if he's actually worked up a sweat yet. I reckon he might have by now. And he's sitting in 23rd position, up 5 positions from where he started. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, folks, well, there he is there, and coming down Conrod Straight. If you want to watch his live Twitch stream, go over to Top Split TV. It's on your screen as we speak, and tell him RRTV sent you. But don't leave us, though. Just simulcast it.
Yeah, you know, guys, one browser can be us and the other browser can be Alex. As Thomas Hiddens comes into the pits, he's made his tank last a whopping 14 laps, Bernie. I'm amazed. He's made us look like complete fools, saying 8 to 12 laps.
Who was that, Thomas?
Thomas Hiddens, yeah, who was actually in the lead of the race before coming into the pits now. So we'll see where he comes back out again.
Yeah, well, he's done the longest. Well, he hasn't actually. Phil Worley, he's also on 14. He's coming in now. Richard Hunter, he's done 13 laps. We'll see when he comes in. He also hasn't stopped. Stephen Williams and Jody Baldwin also haven't stopped. There's a few out there still running, but yeah, 14, that's a long one.
Yeah, so it looks like once Richard comes in, Brian will take control of the race again. So that'll all sort of go back to how it was at the beginning. But I think the guy to watch is going to be Jason Bentz through all of this, because he's up to 10th place now. And that's only going to keep dropping. As more people pit, he's just going to keep passing, because this speed that he has is being used to his advantage whenever people are pitting. He's just sailing straight by them instead of having to do it on the track.
I'm trying to find him. I can't see him on the track.
He's just coming through turn 1 now.
Okay. I'm trying to, yeah, he's not on my telemetry.
Well, that's a bit of a pain, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's very bizarre.
I've got him here on my telemetry. He's showing 8th place at the moment.
Okay.
So there you go. He's just made up another 2 spots from people being in the pits by the looks of it. So he's ripping through this pack, and once Richard Hunter goes in, he may well even make up another spot there.
Yeah, so let's have a look at your top 10. And yes, he's appearing in 8th, but not on my drivers. So Richard Hunter is leading this race, and he is yet to stop. So Brian Borg has stopped, so he will resume the lead. Then we've got Michael Hammond sitting in 3rd, Guy Leach 4th. 5th is Thomas Hinn, 6th Adam Briggs, 7th Philip Worley, Jason Bentz 8th, 9th Lachlan Smith, and Steve Kirk round out your top 10.
Yeah, so I think a bit of strategy is going to come into play here, because those guys who have gone long, they may well make up a pit stop on these other guys. So it'll be interesting to see who ends up coming out on top of it by the end of all this. So I'm actually really keen for the rest of this race, as Brian Borg has actually come into the pit lane again already.
Interesting, isn't it? Because Richard Hunter, he did 14 laps. Brian Borg is in yet again. He's stopping every 7 laps, which is rather interesting strategy. I'm not sure how that's going to pay out.
Yeah, well, I dare say that his car would still have fuel in it. If we're seeing guys running 13, 14 laps on a tank, I doubt that he's running out of fuel. He's a pretty good steerer and he's going pretty hard at it, but 7 laps, that's quite little on such even on 65% restriction. So maybe there's a bit of strategy here at play, and he's just trying to do little top-ups where he can. He knows he's got a good bit of speed under him, so we'll see where this ends up unfolding, Bernie.
Yeah, well, he's come back out in 6th, right in front of Jason Bentz here, and this is what happened last time. And maybe what he's doing is he's pacing himself to Bentz, thinking that Bentz is going to be the challenger. He's in 7th now. He's back on my screen, believe it or not, and moving forward.
Yeah, well, Brian only lost 4 spots from that as well, from putting more fuel in his car. So whether he's just sort of doing that time was sort of just a top up to keep him going to the next pit stop, he'll probably have JRT or a spotter in his ear or something working for him and trying to help him out. So I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit more to this than just running out of fuel, Bernie.
Yeah, the viewers are saying he's playing the strategy game. Also, a bit of news on Ross Rizzo. He was saying he was getting 1,200 ping, and I think he's retired now, and I'm not surprised. David Farrelly also in 28th in the 69. He's the last car on the lead lap.
Yeah, so we just saw the 07 of that nice Kmart livery actually have a big moment. That's Brendan McCarthy coming out of Forest Elbow, trying to get out of Brian Borg's way actually, and managed to get out of there, but nearly put it in the concrete wall to his own demise.
Wow. Yeah, I'm trying to find. There he is. He's down in 39th at the moment, and yeah, that's an old Murph livery, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Probably hoping he could come here tonight and set the lap of the gods, but unfortunately, looks like he may have had some damage or something like that, and he's gone a couple of laps down.
I'm just going through, checking. Yes. Interesting. Phil Otto keeps on. Oh no, that's what he's doing. He's counting. That's all right. So that's 4. Sorry, Phil. So 4 now to the 72 for the best paint job, leading 99. The number 99 with 3, and the 017 with 1.
Yeah, hopefully a few more people jump in and vote, because it's for a good cause tonight. One guy's going to get $10 of iRacing credits. So jump in, guys, and give it a vote. I should probably jump in there and give my own vote too, because there are some really awesome liveries out here, and I'm spotting them and sort of going, I recognise that one, recognise this one. So, you know, some guys have gone out there and put in some real work to get these done. So they deserve their $10 iRacing credit to put towards something in the future that will help them help their racing careers.
Yeah, and you've got a bit of a fan base developing out there. One person said they wanted to have your babies, and I won't say what Phoenix Sim Sports said, but something to do with melons or something.
Yeah, I'm just reading that now. I mean, I never thought I'd ever have a fan club in life. I'm just an old regular guy, but apparently my voice sounds pretty good according to Phoenix Sim Sports.
Yes, well, there you go. So at the moment, Michael Hammond is leading this race, and if we look at the statistics, because you know me, I love my statistics. Laps led, Brian Borg at the moment has led the most. He's led 8. Thomas Hinds is equal with Michael Hammond. They've both led 3 laps each. Guy Leach has led 1, and Richard Hunter has led 1 lap as well.
Interesting. There's a good share around there of all the laps being led. So it'll be interesting to see Brian Borg. His strategy is still play. I'm still trying to play it through my mind and see where the logic is in there, but I can't quite. Not that I'm the smartest guy on the earth or anything, but I think we might see a surprise from him later in the race that sort of shoots him up to the top, and we're just never going to see it coming, Bernie.
Yeah, well, he's heading and still coming out in 6th position, but he's got Jason Bentz behind him now, and Jason isn't fading this time. Last time we saw Jason, he was fading, and I think he was doing a bit of a fuel strategy, but there's still a long way to go here. 33 laps remaining. We are on lap 17.
Yeah, so Bentz is right there behind Borg, and like you said, he's not fading. He's keeping him honest up there, and this will be interesting to see. This is probably the first taste Borg is going to have of what could be his true opposition when they come to the end of the race. I honestly wonder what's going through the minds of the guys up in first at the moment as they try to figure out the strategy that Borg has got, and the absolute maniacal speed of Bentz as he's worked his way up from 44th to 7th now.
Yeah, exactly right. And since he dropped off my screen, it says he's only made up 6 positions, but that's not the case. That's for sure. He's made up. Oh my goodness! How many positions have you counted so far?
Well, if he's up in 7th. I mean, throughout the race, I think one guy didn't. He didn't start the race. We had another one not start the race, so he's probably made up a solid 30, maybe 34 positions, 33 positions at the moment. I didn't do so well in maths in school, so this is the challenge for me.
Yeah. Oh, as he locks it up here, that's Jason Bentz we're riding with. But yeah, 33 positions I think it was. Jordan wants $10 for being our biggest fan. Well, mate, you could have made a little bit of cash if you had to come in and commentated, but that's life.
Oh, now you're just teasing him. Leave him alone.
Yeah. we saw there Borg had a bit of a moment there. He got balked, and Bentz pounced straight away and snatched that position. He's up to 6th now, and we'll see if he can actually pull away.
Yeah, well, this could be interesting in the rest of the race here. Borg's got his strategy, but Bentz has got his speed, and I honestly can't see how this is going to end up, because Hammond at the front has got quite a convincing lead at the moment. He has got, last time round, it was 4.7 seconds over Guy Leach, and about 26 seconds over Brian Borg and Jason Bentz. So he's got a good wallop of time over those guys, and unless this strategy plays out in some weird and wonderful way, he's in a really good position at the moment.
He certainly is. I'm just bringing up the where are we? The fastest lap time. So at the moment, last lap through, Jason Bentz did the fastest lap at 2:05.092. Adam Briggs second fastest with a 2:05.409. Then we had Thomas Hinds third fastest. Then we had Hammond, and fifth fastest is Brian Borg with a 2:05.802. But I tell you what, Jason Bentz is not holding back, as he's now starting to swallow the 23, I think it is. He's up to 6th. Yes, it is. Phil Wall, he's right behind him now.
Yeah, he's just using that draft, get by that 500 car, and I think we might see a pass coming down into here, and there he goes, down the inside. nice and easy, and made it work there. Pulled the car up beautifully, and he's gone straight through. So that was well done there. And now his next target is our own Adam Briggs. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm just laughing at Jordan. Sorry, Jordan, I'm laughing with you, not at you, mate.
Oh, Bernie, you're so mean to him.
Oh, dear me. Yes, I'm just having a look if there's any other votes here. There hasn't been, but no doubt we'll give everyone a reminder a bit later on and see if they come in. And we've had a number of retirements as well. Ross Rizzo was the latest retirement. The cars that, and Chris Polly's also retired now. We had 2 cars that did not start. That was Gerard Daly in the 19 and the 09, Corey J. Ott, did not make the grid tonight.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate. I think I mentioned earlier, Gerard Daly in the number 19 actually mentioned that he had to head off for the night, so it sounded like something got in the way. But Corey, just didn't make the start, unfortunately for him. So maybe next time he can come out and give 310 kilometres at Bathurst a red hot crack and see where he gets to.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm trying to find some battles here, but the field is so spread out at the moment. We can see this is the 058, and the 027 ahead of him is not for position as he gets out of the way.
Yeah, well, like you said, Bernie, everyone's sort of spread out at the moment, and I think the compulsory safety car that we have coming in the second half of the race will obviously throw a bit into the strategy game, but also change things up a bit in the racing as well, because people, I think, they say safety cars breed more safety cars, so we'll see a bit of craziness then, people jostling for position. But looking back through the field, first, second and third, they're all spread fairly wide with, about 4.7 seconds back to Guy Leach from Hammond, and about that again, about 5 seconds back to Hinds from Leach, so they're just running their own race at the moment. Benson, Borg, they're still attached like a magnets on their bumpers at the moment. They're not leaving each other alone, Bernie.
Yeah, we'll jump up there in a moment. I've just caught Cohen Attard there. He's got a lot of damage at the front of that car, and he then went off again at the dipper. Now he's got rear end damage as well as front end damage, and the 2 eyes are very wide on the front of that car now.
Yeah, I was just about to say, they're looking a little worried rather than menacing at the moment, so may need to go to pits, get that fast repair and get that car back to what it should look like with a bonnet, hopefully.
Yeah, well, if he keeps on going the way he's going, that car's going to have its eyes closed very, very shortly, that's for sure. He's really wrestling that car. I think he's going to have to bring it in.
Yeah, he's got quite a bit of damage to the front and the rear of the car, so it'll be interesting to see if he can come back from it. I guess he's got his fast repair. He's doing pretty well back. He was in 11th. He started 20th, so he had made up quite a few positions there. But unfortunately, just made a mistake, which is one of the easiest things to do around this mountain. Is one little lock up, and that could send you into the walls. So, like we've said, there are the fast repairs. You can get back out there and give it another shot.
Yeah, we just jumped back on board with Brian Borg here, and you're right, they are definitely going at it, aren't they? 0.5 of a second separate these two, and Brian is just hanging on to the back of Jason. And I wonder if this is strategy, because of course Jason has to take all the risks in when he catches these guys, and Brian can sort of just push him along.
Yeah, well, Brian may well be saving fuel right now. He's sort of peaking. That was close. That was Hammond slowing down there. Hammond's slow coming down Conrod. He may have run out of fuel, Bernie.
He has. He's pulled it up. He's out.
It's unfortunate to see. I was just watching Benson Borg there, and I was thinking, hang on a second, Michael Hammond, he's our race leader, so hopefully he can sort of just make it back into the pit lane. He's using the nice hills of Mount Panorama to roll him back in there, and hopefully he can refuel, get back out there. He obviously tried to push that strategy a little bit too far, and now is paying the price, but we'll see where he gets to, Bernie.
Yeah, of course, the pit lane is uphill as we're riding with him now. Is he actually going to get there? He's he chucked it into neutral a few times. I think he might get into his pit box. You don't want to run out now, do you?
No, he's so close. He's dribbling along. He might make it in. We've got Bence just in there. It looks like he's made it in there, so he'll get fueled up. He's lost a couple of positions, but in the scheme of things, his race, he could have gotten a tow, and that could have been a couple of minutes, so a lap down already there. So he's still in the hunt, but not quite as much as what he was hoping for.
Yeah, sorry folks, I'm just going back. I want to see where he ran out of fuel. Yeah, it was at... he's actually... let's go back further. He's actually run out long before he got to Conrod Straight.
Oh, really?
Yep. So he was out of fuel before he, just as he turned out of Griffin's there, he was already out of fuel. That's how far he had to coast that thing.
He did a really good job to keep it going that long of a way. I think most of us would have just given up by then and gone, well, I'll just escape to the pit lane, but he did well. And like I was mentioning before, you know, he's down in, I think it's 7th now. Is that what? I know he's in 10th place now, but in the scheme of things, for what could have been a lap down, 10th place isn't that bad, and he can still claw his way back. We're nearly at halfway through this race, but there's still a lot of racing to go, Bernie.
Yeah, and one of the viewers said they don't think he was actually out of fuel. So there's a bit of a debate. They said if it was out of fuel, he'd be coughing, so maybe he had a hardware-related issue. But then another viewer said, well, if he's clutching it in, the engine won't cough. So I'm going to go with he was out of fuel.
Yeah. Now I'm confused. But that's all right. By the way, he seems to have, if it was a hardware glitch, he seemed to have sorted it out, or if it was fuel, well, he's got fuel again and he's back out there racing hard to try reclaim that top spot. And Guy Leach is our new leader at the moment in that VR46 Commodore.
Oh, there's a car into the wall as well, just after the cutting up there. It's I think it's the Perkins entry, but I'm not sure who the driver is.
Yeah, Guy Leach has had a very close moment there through the dipper as well. He just about scraped the wall. I think he missed it by the hair of his chinny chin chin sort of thing. But he's still going strong. He's got Thomas Hinds coming behind him, and Adam Briggs is actually in 3rd place at the moment from RRTV. So he's doing quite a good job at the moment, being up there. And obviously Brian Borg's strategy has put him back a bit, but we may well see Adam up on the podium at the end of the night.
Yeah, and Adam drives for DPR, and he commentates on occasion with us here on the channel. So I'd add a correction there before everyone said, hang on a minute.
Yes, thank you, Bernie, thank you.
So, yeah, and another viewer has chimed in here, and they said, every Aussie knows you can roll home from Skyline. So there you go.
Apparently we do. I didn't know that, but now I do. So
apparently we're born that way.
I must have been born today.
Yeah. So there you go, folks.
But Thomas Hinds is clawing his way back to the rear of Guy Leach. He's pulled in about a second in that last lap. He did a 2:05.7 in the last lap, and Guy Leach did a 2:06.6. So Guy is actually sitting around the 2:06s at the moment, and Thomas is the last lap was a 2:06.0, but this lap was a 2:05.7. So he's really in Leach at the moment and pushing hard. So this will be interesting to see coming into the next round of pit stops where they'll end up, because Thomas came in after 14 laps last time. So it's starting to get towards what could be his pit window, Bernie.
And Adam Briggs was faster again, not by a lot, but he is closing on Hinds. And then Brian Borg was 0.3 faster again. So all 4 of these drivers, they're starting to compress. Now, from Guy Leach back to Brian Borg, the gap is 17.9 seconds. And bear in mind, Brian stopped a couple of times now. Trying to find Jason Bence, he's disappeared off my driver screen once again.
see if I can find him there.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, 7th place at the moment, Bernie. So after his pit stop, he's still up there. How many has he taken? So he's taken his... Where is he? Sorry, 2nd pit stop already. And we've still got Guy Leach, Thomas Hinds, Adam Briggs, Philip Walling, Richard Hunter in front of him that haven't taken their 2nd pit stop. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out where. And of course, Benson Borg are on completely different wavelengths with their strategy at the moment. And Borg's a little bit further up the road, but he took his pit stop quite a while back, so he'll be in again if his strategy is anything to go by very soon.
I'm just having a look at Guy Leach. He's dropped down to 3rd. That's because he's in the pits. Okay, that makes sense. So he's coming in for his 2nd stop now. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to Bence, as Bence is now coming down the chase, and Leach is still sitting in the pits. Because this will give us an idea of the true pace of Bence here. So he's just coming through the chase now. Where's Leach? Still taking fuel.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Leach is on the move now, and Bence is just coming through the last corner, so Leach has beaten him out, but not by a whole lot, and Bence is obviously on warm tyres and just coming through the first turn now, so there isn't actually all that much between the two of them. Bence will be able to see down the road and see Guy Leach now, Bernie.
Yeah, that's right. So, Leach has done his 2nd stop. Bence has done his 2nd. Brian Borg has as well. So if we take all that into account, the top 3 would be Borg, Leach, possibly, and then Bence would be 3rd, with Hammond potentially 4th after that, whatever happened.
Yeah, so I'm still confused, Bernie. I'm trying to figure out, who's going to end up where, but there's a lot of strategy in this, and Bence has tried to put it down the inside at Sulman and Reed on Richard Hunter, and that was very, very risky for a guy that's probably trying to win this race. He's certainly taking a lot of risks to get there.
Yeah, he certainly is, and I'll tell you what, Adam Briggs is now closed up on the back of Hinds, and this is for the lead, and they both go around once again. We know these guys, well, Hinds goes extremely deep when it comes to fuel anyway.
Yeah, so, Hinds has got probably now a couple of laps if he's going to stick to what he put in his car last time. So, it'll be interesting to see when Briggs comes in and when Hinds comes in. And, Briggs has shown some pretty good speed in this coming into the second half of the race now. And I might just add quickly as well, now that we are in the second half of the race, we can be expecting that random safety car at any point between now and lap 50.
That's right. And then, of course, that's going to compress the field up. As we see now, Briggs having a crack at Hinds there. Hinds went very wide. He's expecting Briggs to go up the inside, which he didn't. And in fact, he went so wide there, he's lucky he didn't collect the wall.
Yeah, well, if you nab that curb on the outside at turn 2, it can be a killer. We saw Frosty back in I can't remember what year now, he was battling with Whincup, might have been 2013. Battling with Whincup there, and he nearly put it in the wall because he was trying to go around the outside at turn 2, which is not something we see too often, but it's just that curb pulls you out into the wall, so you want to try and avoid that. But Hinds was trying to do the right thing there, and nearly ended his race, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we can see now Adam Briggs is coming down the mountain once again. 25 laps remaining here in the second half of the race, and as you said, could get a safety car at any point.
Yeah, which will throw that extra element of strategy in there, and these drivers, well, it'll be interesting to see who it benefits and who it doesn't. And guys like Brian Borg, whose strategies seem a little bit off compared to the rest of the field, it may benefit him hugely because it'll come around a time when he needs to stop, or it may benefit him really badly with everyone else stopping and him, everybody else has just stopped and he has to go in and everybody just passes him by. So obviously iracing's the guys here tonight at FNRC using iracing's race control, so you have to wait until the pit's open NASCAR style to actually go in and get your service.
Yeah, so That's going to be very interesting when that happens. And as you said, is anyone going to get caught out by it? It's a bit of a gamble at the moment, and we'll see if it pays off for them.
Yeah, and Brian Borg is in the pits again now. So if my maths is correct here, you could probably Thomas Hinds, if he keeps doing the fuel stints he's been doing. If he pits in the next lap or two, he's still going to need 2 pit stops to make it to the end.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what Brian's playing at here, but no doubt they've got something up their sleeve.
Yeah, it's he's just trying to confuse us commentators in the box here, Bernie.
Yeah, that's right. But he's another stop, 23.9 seconds, so he is taking full stops, and no doubt he's throwing tyres on that as well.
Yeah, so he'll get some of that speed back, I reckon. Guys, Hinds has pulled away a little bit from Briggs, so I don't know, Briggs might just be using him for a bit of fuel saving to really pull out this next stint. And where does Borg end up? He ended up back in 4th place, so Leach jumped him, but he's stayed in front of Richard Hunter and Jason Bentz, so that's interesting there.
Yeah, and it looks like Bentz has put it into the fence because he's carrying a fair bit of damage to the left front guard on that car.
Yeah, that looks like the Hulk's come and just punched that front left guard in there. So he's obviously still driving along, but he's dropped a fair way off Richard Hunter, about 7 seconds there, 6 or 7 seconds. So he's going to have to claw that back, and he's just put a major dent in his plans for the night of trying to make it up to that top spot on the podium.
Certainly has, and the puns keep on rolling. But let's have a look as we can see who's this Adam Briggs coming in now. A couple of the guys we haven't seen anything of at the moment. Joey Baldwin here, sitting in 17th position, up 8, and the number 9 Synovis, that's a Alan Moffat banana boat paint job, that one, and he's been having a good run. The other one is Lachlan Smith in the 05 mobile entry. Also, he's dropped 1 position, but circulating in 18th at the moment.
Yeah, got to say, what a great livery on that car. That's my favourite livery from the Supercars season this year, and it's great to see it brought onto the service here. And also, having I was named after Peter Brock, so seeing liveries like that is pretty special. So hopefully he gets a few more boats in the boat tonight, and I think that one deserves to be up there and fighting for that win for that $10 iracing credit. Yeah,
well, he's even matched the number, hasn't he? The 05.
Yeah, well, that's it. And the livery looks perfect with that 05 on it, Bernie.
Certainly does. So, folks, you know, we're not allowed to vote for these cars, but you can vote for them. And if you wish to, just come over the YouTube channel into the chat and tell us the car and the number, and I'll go old school and pencil it down.
Nothing like a bit of old school, Bernie. You can't deny that.
No. Yeah, we haven't seen, we're going through the cars as well, the few guys we haven't seen. Darcy May up 5 positions in 24th at the moment, is also having a run, and I'll cover off a few more of these guys. Christopher Foster in that beautiful Hog's Breath 666 entry, that's another striking livery, and he's currently 25th, up 15 positions.
Wow, that's a brilliant effort. And obviously pushing hard to get there too. So that's some of these guys. They stay under the radar a bit, but yeah, they're fighting for that $10 voucher as well. So what my question is for Jason Bentz, he qualified first. So does it count that he started from first? Because on my timing here it shows that he started from first. Or does it count that he started from pit lane and therefore he's made up the most positions and will win that voucher?
That is a good question, isn't it? And that's probably something that's above our pay grade, and something that no doubt the administrators can sort that mess out.
Yeah, we'll leave that to the smart guys. We're just here to say some words and hope it all goes well.
Yeah, exactly right. And David Trevathan down 5 positions in 30th, just going deep into the field here, folks. And of course, Brian Sheridan, we haven't seen him at all, and he's the man behind behind this series. He's currently in 33rd and up 3 positions.
Yeah, so he's doing quite well, and just again going around at the back of the pack, staying quiet, and you make up positions if you can just keep it consistent through the race. So he's doing a good job back there.
Yeah, he certainly is, and there's a number of drivers down in trouble at the moment. Just go down to Tim Awima at the moment. He's 36 and 5 laps down, but below him are our retirements. So it looks like we've lost the 98, Paul Wood. Gavin Sadler in the 71. I'll just see if he's still in the pits. Looks like he may have retired. Eugene Blurton, Mark Hagaratz, Ross Rizzo, Chris Polly, and the 2 that did not start was Jared Daly and Corey Otto.
Yeah, and just while we've been looking through the field there, Thomas Hiddens has pitted. So now Guy Leach is back on top there, and we've got the number 37 in the wall. Sorry, just before the dipper there. Just trying to find that was Scott Newton had put it in the wall there.
Yeah, we'll go back to the West Coast Subaru replay, and we'll just have a look at this. He's been sitting in the wall for a bit by the looks of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that was a big one. Not a big one, but just unfortunate there.
Just trying to get a decent angle on this. And of course it's coming down the S's here and into just before the dipper, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, just there. I had a quick look at the replay. It looked like he just got a bit loose and swung it around in there and nosed it into the wall.
Yeah, he did. He got it sideways and a little bit of an overcorrection there and straight into the wall. So, and now he's bringing it into the pits.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that his engine didn't blow or anything, and that he can make it back to get that fast repair and get back out there again. Like I've been saying all night, the idea for having 5 fast repairs by FNRC is brilliant because it just means people can get back out there and keep racing.
Yeah, so we've got a number of votes there. I'll go through and add them in very shortly, but I'll do it now because I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah, that's all right, Bernie. So I'm just having a look. It looks like Bence is back in front of Richard Hunter. Richard still hasn't taken his second pit stop according to my timing, so he's still going strong. But Bence is still about 11 seconds behind Borg at the moment. So this is going to be interesting now. Bence has quite a bit of time to make up, and Borg is now only 9 to 10 seconds off the lead. His strategy is now getting quite close to that of the guys at the front. So this may be working out for him, and we know his speed is phenomenal at the moment. His last 2 laps were a 2:04.5 and a 2:05.0, compared to Guy Leach, who has done a 2:05.8 and a 2:06.4. So he is absolutely reeling in these guys, Bernie, and I think come these last 20 laps, once Guy Leach crosses the finish line, we're going to see some awesome racing.
Yeah, I think you're right there, and can see now Leach is 5.3 seconds up from Hinz, and then of course Briggs, he's just shadowing Hinz at the moment, possibly using him because he knows he's quick, and he can also potentially have a little bit of a fuel save while he's sitting back there.
Yeah, well, that's the benefit of the draft, is you can just sort of take it easy there, relax and enjoy your time, basically. And, you know, we've still got a while to go in this race. 20 laps is a long time around Bathurst. And I think, as I'm saying that, Briggs has a little bit of a look, but then brings it back in again. Doesn't want to try anything too risky. I think they're behind a lapped car at the moment, so they're just trying to take it easy. Briggs is right up behind him. We'll see if he'll decide to save fuel and be strategic, or just go try and get that overtake and go for the $25 I think it is on offer.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, so no, he's decided to just come back in behind him, so he might just be playing that strategy game. And Borg has reeled in a second, 1.3 seconds on the lead in that last lap, so he is absolutely flying, and he can smell victory. I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, he's as you said, 7.7 seconds down and closing. Bence is now 20 seconds down, in 5th place, still carrying a lot of that damage, and he's absolutely thrown everything he can at that Nissan Holden.
Yeah, well, while Borg is doing 204s, 204.9 was his last lap. Benson's last lap was a 206.1, so there's obviously that was 1.2 seconds slower than what Borg has been doing. So obviously that damage is hindering him a little bit, and he's slowly slipping away from those podium positions in that win, Bernie.
And the other car on the move at the moment, well, we've got two. We've got Philip Worley. He's did a 205.736, so which makes him second fastest last lap, or third fastest, because Michael Hammond is just slightly quicker with the 205.648.
Yeah, and Hammond's back up to 7th from 10th now, so he's obviously got the red mist coming over him, and he wants to get back up there because he was up there with Guy Leach and Thomas Innes fighting for that win earlier. So he's he can, much like Brian Borg, smell the victory that can come at the end of this race, and he wants it bad, so he's pushing hard. Borg is though too, and he has got his iron sights on the two guys in front of him, being Thomas Innes and Adam Briggs, and he's catching them at lightning pace.
Yes, definitely is. And one of the viewers asked about the safety car. Yeah, so basically the rule is a random safety car will be called in the second half of this race, so at any point from 25 to go on. But you can see now we're looking out the back of Hins's car here, and Adam Briggs is just absolutely monstering him in that. I think he's in a Monster Energy car, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is there actually, so that was a good use of the words there, Bernie. But yeah, he's all over the back of him there, and he's not really letting him rest. He's filling his mirrors, and I'm sure filling his brain as well, thinking hopefully this guy doesn't try to shove it down the inside of me. But Briggs is doing well here, is keeping that pressure on, and so far keeping third place. So hopefully for him, you'll get a nice little bonus at the end of this if he can keep third place. Guy Leach is still out the front there, just cruising along, minding his own business, and hoping that it'll stay that way for the rest of the race, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll have a look who's ranging up on Briggs and Hinds now, and that's Mr. Brian Borg. He's got him in his sights, and last time by he was about 1.8 seconds behind, and I have a feeling it's going to be a little closer this time.
Yeah, he's reeling them in, and you get that extra motivation when you can see the cars in front of you. Now, the interesting thing is going to be from lap 37 onwards. Theoretically, cars can make it home. So, who will pit in that window early on, and who will pit later on to try and make it home? Obviously, that depends on the cars that have the fuel to make it there. But I'll be interested to see the strategy behind this, as the Banana Boat number 9 car, Jody Baldwin, has just spun around out of the last corner.
Sorry, which car was that? Jody?
Jody Baldwin in the number 9.
Okay, yeah, I've lost. There he is. Yeah, and this number 9 Banana Boat entry, it's actually had a vote as well. So,
excellent.
Yeah, so we've got a vote. The 05, that also got a vote, and the Pertec entry got a vote as well.
Excellent. Good to see that there are a few more liveries being voted for in the field.
Yeah, and one of the viewers wanted an update on Scotty Newton. Well, he's down 4 positions in 19th in the Simputers PC Systems entry, and he's had that car fast repaired after going into the wall up the top of the mountain just before the dipper. For the viewers watching, Alex McCullough, he's in 20th position now, up 9th from where he started, and one lap down. He's got George Fullerton right on his backside though at the moment. Well, not literally, but the Nitro Fish entry is out there hunting.
Yeah, that's for sure. And he's coming hard, and he's actually gone down the inside of Alex there at turn 1. So he's... Oh no, it's still on here. He didn't get the best exit there, so Alex is going to pull back in, and we'll see if he actually ends up getting him again at the end of this straight. But good to see some battling going on back in the pack as well, that they haven't just... not just cruising around there. It's good to see that they have something to make the race fun as it should be. And there's the safety car.
So this is going to bunch up the rest of the field. So basically the guys on the lead lap go back to number 12, Stephen Williams. He's the last one on the lead lap here in the Castrol Perkins entry, the number 88. So he's the last one on the lead lap. So this is going to compress them all. So what do you think they're going to do? You reckon they're going to all come into the pits?
This could mean, depending on how long the safety car is, that drivers will be able to make it to the end of this race. And if they do some fuel saving behind the safety car and pit as late as they can, they may be able to make it to the end of the race if they use Thomas Hinn's fuel economy algorithm. It'll be interesting to see. Brian Borg obviously has been pitting in shorter stints, but that hasn't hurt him too much because he's still in 4th place and he's got the speed to be there too. So I don't know. I am very curious to see how this race pans out, Bernie, with about 17 laps to go now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're also going to cross to Alex McCullough in a moment and just hear if he's actually puffing. Now, to do this, I've actually got to cross to his channel, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Before we do, though, let's have a look at Steve Kirk out here in the 027 Cartwright entry. He's sitting in 31st at the moment, dropped 11, so not having the best of races, but that's another nice livery out there.
Yeah, that's for sure. Just look at it. Yeah, that is a nice one. Good throwback one as well. So, not a throwback one. Had about 4 cars come across my screen before that one. That is a nice one, quite striking with that orange as well. So, again, it's always good to see the creativity that comes out in this community, and you never see anything that's quite the same from different teams and different drivers. So it's always cool to come out on track or commentate and see the variety in liveries that get thrown at you.
Yeah, and the best livery does not mean the best retro. Any car here you can vote for, folks. So giving you a bit of an update, 4 votes to the number 72. That's Adam Briggs at the moment in the Monster entry. We've got 4 votes also for the 99. That's Nick Fatiadis back there in 16th position. And wait for him to come through in the 99. That's a beautiful Pertec entry. Well, actually, he's got 5 votes. I didn't vote for him, I just someone else voted for a Pertec. 1 vote for the 017 Brian Borg FAI entry. The 05 has 1 vote. That's Lachlan Smith, which is quite eerie because the 05 is right behind the FAI entry, so it's given us a bit of down memory lane. And
say that again.
And the number 9, it has 2 votes at the moment. But let's try and cross back over to Alex McCullough and let's see if we can actually do this. Now, you probably won't hear this because I've got to jump to another channel, Brock, but I'll be back hopefully shortly.
That's right, I'll just go fill up my drink bottle in the break.
No worries.
Yeah, I've been lapped by the top 10.
Hello. Hi, Alex.
Hey.
Sorry, mate. It's RRTV live here. Got you live and been mentioning people to go over and look at your sweaty face, but can currently see you down in 21st there, up 9 positions though. So have you been having a lot of fun?
Oh, mate, it's been hard work, as you can probably tell. Let me just wipe the brow. These cars are they're tough to handle around here, mate. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a really good race. This is our first yellow. It was a randomly thrown one, and the standard of driving has been excellent.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get you. Oh my goodness, you're challenging me here. You're coming in the pits, are you?
I am, mate. I am. I'm hoping to make it on one more stop. Actually, I've had a couple for repairs, but I'm hoping to make it on one more stop. So we'll see how we go. Yeah.
No worries, we just got your stream up there now. Little bit of a delay, but it's not too bad. So what's your plan? You're going to throw some fuel and tyres, and how far are you going to get?
Well, there's 16 laps remaining. I reckon I'm a bit short on fuel, but we'll see what happens. I reckon, I'm hoping I don't have to stop again, but we'll see.
Well, it wasn't a bad stop. You've come out in front of Fullerton again in the 500. We saw him take you there down at Hell Corner. So that's just having a look at what your stop is now. 12.3 seconds. So considering you're not really a V8 supercar driver, how you been enjoying it?
Oh, mate, these things are weapons. They're they're really hard to handle. I can really get an appreciation for the skill of the guys that do it regularly, but yeah, it's something I'd have to spend a lot of time on to get any good.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this series, isn't it? Because it brings together guys from all different categories throughout the year, and you find your favourite cars to compete in for one of the rounds, but then tonight brings them all together, doesn't it, into the V8?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been really enjoying this series, Bernie. Like I've done probably half a dozen rounds in different cars. First one, fortunately for me, was in the Skippy. I was lucky enough to win that one, but the rest of them I've been lucky to get in the top 10 because you're just driving that variety. What I've been really impressed with though, Bernie, is some of the guys in here are faster than everything, and that's when you know they're really good drivers.
Yeah, exactly right. But the main thing is you're having a lot of fun. We haven't had any votes for your car, but I thought you would have been out there in a top split entry tonight.
No, mate, I didn't get a chance to do up a livery, so I'm just using one of the standard ones. There's a couple of really nice ones around there. The Team Venom guys have put on a really nice one. There's no Team Milo here tonight to show off what they've got, but certainly if you're going to add my vote, mate, add it into to Les and Tim for the Team Venom.
Yeah, no worries. But anyway, we should let you go. Just coming across the top of the mountain now, or a bit of a delay in your stream, but you're going to be going back racing very soon. So,
yeah, mate. So what we got now is we got this lap, then we'll line up double file, and then the lap after that we go green.
Okay, and then it's going to be pretty much maybe a splash and dash at the end of it.
I'm hoping to avoid it, but we'll see.
Yeah, so I was telling all the viewers they can simulcast and go over to your Twitch channel and watch you twitching and sweating, as well as watch a broadcast if they want.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I've been trying to send people your way as well. It's a good thing that the community we like to cross-promote. It's a good thing. Yeah,
it certainly is. All right, mate, we'll let you get organised and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Thanks, Bernie, mate. Thanks for dropping in. G'day, everyone at RRTV. So I think we're clear.
Okay, so we're back in the broadcast booth there. That was Alex McCullough, and crossing over to his Twitch stream. He sounded pretty chipper, really.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty good after what would have been about 33 laps of racing before the safety car was thrown.
Yeah, exactly right. One of the viewers has asked, did Thomas Hinds pit during that last stop? Did you see him come in? I was a bit busy interviewing.
I didn't see him come in. He's still listed as only having 2 pit stops. So, Borg, it looks like Borg has come in. Reese Keane as well. The order's sort of been mixed up a little bit for guys who haven't come in. So,
yeah, so Phil Otto has said the top 4 have not pitted, and so that would be Thomas Hinds, Adam Briggs, Phil Worley, and there's a question mark over Reese Keane at the moment. But yeah, so basically the way this is going to start, Alex has let us know they're going to be double file restart here tonight.
That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. So our top 5 at the moment, first is Thomas Hinds, second Adam Briggs, third Philip Worley, fourth Reese Keane, and fifth is Brian Borg.
Yeah, and then we've got Guy Leach 6, 7th Richard Hunter, Jason Bentz 8, Michael Hammond 9th, and Gary Cousins rounds out your top 10.
So it'll be interesting to see here for those who pitted, can they make it home? Because we'll be lap 37. I think whoever's pitted during that safety car is probably going to need a splash and dash to make it home. And obviously Thomas Hinds had, obviously that top 4 hasn't pitted. So it'll be interesting to see how long their pit stops are compared to guys like Brian Borg, and see who makes it out on top by the end of this race. And this is a sprint to the finish now.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we can see just how spread out this field is. And as they're coming up through the cutting, that's down in 18th. Go further down, they're still coming up, and there's that beautiful 666 Hog's Breath entry with Christopher Foster driving that. And then we've got Dennis Fiedler. Fiedler's been having a bit of a rough ride tonight in that Ovaltine entry. Seen him a couple of times get it all crossed up, but of course, V8 Supercar, that's not his go-to car, so he's normally known in the Skip Barbers.
Yeah, well, it's good to see him getting out here and giving it a shot. You know, the V8 is a very tough car to get your head around, and it's good to see that the guys have come out tonight. They've obviously raced a few different cars through the season, and that they're giving it a shot and hopefully having fun while they're out there.
Oh, exactly right, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? We can see Tim Awima there back in 36th. He's now 7 laps down, but he's still out there having a race, and no doubt it's a good way to spend a Saturday night.
Yeah, well, that's it. All these guys are here because they want to race, and well, Bathurst and the V8, that's an awesome combination. I race that just for fun to cool down from a day. So these guys, they're going to have a hoot coming into this last 13, 14 laps, and I'm sure we're going to have a hoot calling it as well.
Yeah, that's right, and yeah, the Banana Boat number 9's only had 2 votes from what I can tell here, Jordan, but if you can count them again, let me know. And we've just got the first vote there for the 666 Hog's Breath entry.
Ah, excellent. That Hog's Breath livery is quite nice. I think I feel like it might be a remake of one of Scott Pye's liveries, but I can't be sure. My memory isn't serving me too well tonight. It's already in Christmas mode for me.
Yes, I'm in Christmas mode as well, but you know, I almost forgot about tonight. That's how relaxed I got.
That would have been a bit awkward for me. I'd turn up and nobody's here to stream.
Yeah, that's right. But safety cars coming in now, folks, are getting back to business. Thomas Hines, he's going to lead us off here. He's got the Monster Energy 72 behind him. Second row, Phil Worley, Reece Keane. Third row, Brian Borg, Guy Leach. Fourth row, Richard Hunter, Jason Bentz. And your fifth row will be Michael Hammond and Gary Cousins as Hines puts the pedal to the metal. 15 laps remaining, pretty much a sprint race from here, almost. And we can see now Hines leads them in. But of course it gets a bit interesting, doesn't it, further back in the field?
Yeah, well, there's already a few guys running wide at turn 1, and they're all pushing hard to come through. The 2 wide restarts always make life a little difficult, and we've got a crash. That's the 500 Nitro Fish cars around. It looks like he's been hit by someone as well. That's George Thornton.
Yeah, he's lost the whole front end of that. We'll have a look at the replay. The other one was Michael Hammond in the 07. He had a bit of a shocker as well. But let's have a look at the West Coast Subaru replay here.
Oh no, we've just had a big crash out of turn 2 as well, Bernie. The track is nearly blocked there, the 05 of Lachlan Smith. Yeah, this is it's pretty big. The 38 went into the wall and the 05 of Lachlan Smith collected him, and we've got a safety car.
Okay, so we'll get back to that. We're just having a look at the West End Mazda. Oh yeah, the 34's in the wall. I can see that. The 898 also in the wall. And where did that start with the 05, did you say?
It started with the 38, the green-red livery, coming out of turn 2. Just got a little loose off the curb and then swung it around, and the 05 unfortunately had nowhere to go there.
Okay, so we're going to jump back here and have a look. That was Paul Nichols. As we have a look at the Central Coast Subaru replay, and we'll just see how this has unfolded here. Oh. Wow. Might go back a bit further. We've got him up in the air, and Dennis Fiedler's also up in the air. And my goodness me, that's quite a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, I was looking at it and I couldn't believe what I was seeing when the 05 just had absolutely nowhere to go in that situation. He just had to go straight and hope for the best.
Well, I'll tell you what, Alex McCullough, he just avoided the George Fullerton one. Then he's had to snake his way through, as the rest of the field have. Tell you what, this is in third motion, and they were still all snaking their way through.
Yeah, most of the field did really well. Once the cars were actually stopped and not flying through the air anymore, they did really well to sort of snake their way through and avoid any more casualties.
Yeah, they certainly did, and as God, I'm having a bad night with names at the moment. as Sam Katakazinos would say, Fiedler was nearly on his roof.
Yeah, it was a close one, that's for sure.
And
you were just saying he wasn't having the best of nights, and I reckon that's just topped it off for him.
Yeah, well, that car's toast, isn't it? And it's an open wheeler on the front. He might be used to that, but he's just looped it again down at the chase, and he'll be going in. Now, it's going to be interesting because we're under safety car conditions here, 13 laps remaining. Are they going to need another stop?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it, Bernie? I mean, they were under safety car for quite a while. Probably guys at the front were trying to, save that fuel. And now they may just have enough to make it through, but it is going to be so tight.
Oh, it's going to be, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've just had Brian Sheridan in the actual server. He said that after this safety car, there'll be no more safety cars for the rest of the race.
Okay.
So no matter what happens, it's going to be green for the rest of the way.
I tell you what, Brian is a busy man. He's not only letting us know that, he's also sitting in 34th and the 11th in the number 11. So he must be driving and typing at the same time. Yeah,
he's doing well. He's got his hands going in every which direction. So driving a V8's hard enough as it is. But he's doing his race control bit and doing the caution flags and everything. So pretty impressive stuff from him tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is. And for the fans of Scott Newton, he's up 2 positions now, sitting in 14th. Someone also mentioned earlier that it's interesting to see Scott in a V8. He's an open wheeler guy, as are some of the others, quite a few of them out here tonight. But and that's the beauty of this series, isn't it? They've basically had an opportunity to run in most of the cars around Bathurst, and they all get put into the V8 supercar at the end. Now, that's going to favour some over others, but I guess, it's all fun and it's all about enjoying the experience.
Well, yeah, that's it, Bernie. And obviously this is the end of a season-long series that, like you said, has been trying out different cars, different sort of car combos with Bathurst the whole season, and they throw them into the V8, which is a challenging combo, but a rewarding one if you get it right. And Thomas Hinds, Adam Briggs, and now Philip Hawley as well, they're top 3, so they're fighting hard for it. By the time we go green again, it is going to end up being a sprint like we were talking about. We'll probably have about 10 laps of racing left, and it's going to be hell for leather and shove it down the inside and do everything you can to get that win.
Yeah, well, I reckon keep an eye on Jason Bentz. He should be sponsored by Pack and Send, because that's what I reckon he's going to start doing with 13 laps to go.
You can say that again, and the Australia Post can sponsor Brian Borg, because I reckon he'll be sending it a couple of times too. He's got a few more positions up the front there to make up, and with the speed he's having, I reckon he's going to be going for it. And we've got Hinds, Briggs and Worley all coming into the pits, but Brian Borg, he's not coming in. So we'll see what happens here. They may have decided that this splash and dash is what they'll need to get to the end, but I'm fairly sure Borg pitted into that last safety car, so he could be good to make it to the end of this race, Bernie.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it, because he pitted the first time. Now, the guys that came in, Hinds, Hunter, Worley and Reece Keane, they all stayed out. They were the top 4, so now they've had to come in. They'll be filling it to the brim, and we know Thomas Hinds can definitely get home from here, because earlier he did 14 laps of running.
Yeah, that's it, Bernie, and I feel like Brian Borg, I don't know, if he's got the fuel in there, he's probably sort of coasting a little bit, clutch coasting a little bit now, just to try and save as much fuel as he can and make it to the end. But he's gotten back to basically where he started, considering Bence didn't start the race, and hopefully, for his sake, he'll be able to keep the lead. But he's got Guy Leach right behind him, and Bence is actually in 3rd place at the moment too. So, like you said, Bence is going to be packing and sending it. So we'll have to see what how this race pans out. But this safety car's thrown a spanner in the works, that's for sure.
It certainly has, and we've only got the top 12 now in the lead lap. The last one's a number 23, and that's Phil Worley at the moment in the RPR livery.
Yes, yeah. Just my timing's just updating for me now. So, well, I guess it's a 12-man fight for the win now. Having them all this close together, it's really it'll be interesting to see. Borg absolutely jumped the pack at the start of the race today, and his strategy confused us, and the viewers were saying it's a bit risky, but it's worked out for him now. But we'll see if he can actually make it to the end and on fuel and with the pace he needs to keep Leach and Bence behind him. And as we know, Bence had mega pace in qualifying and has made his way from dead last to 2nd place. Third place.
Yeah, and for the followers of Les Peck hitting the number 51 Venom entry, he's still going strong. He's 1 lap down. He's just behind Alex McCullough, so those two will be racing for bragging rights. But up 13 positions in 14th at the moment, so that's a good showing there by Mr. Peck. And looks like that car looks like a new one again.
Yeah, which is always good to see. We like our cars staying nice and shiny over these nights. So again, those fast repairs coming in handy to keep the cars looking nice and beautiful for this last sprint to the finish. And Alex McCullough actually sitting in 13th at the moment. He's made up 17 positions, so just a shout out to him. Mega effort there. And Les Peck behind him in 14th, 17, and Christopher Foster behind them has made up 25 positions. So those guys running line astern have actually made some of the biggest moves in the race at the moment.
Yeah, and the most laps led at the moment, Thomas Hines, he's back there in 8th, and a lot of work to do. He's led the most laps, 12 laps. Guy Leach, he's currently sitting in 2nd. He's led 10 laps. Brian Borg has led 8, and he will be leading them away. Then we've got Michael Hammond in 6th. He's led 7. And in 4th is Richard Hunter. He has led 1 lap. Now, it's interesting at the moment because Jason Bence has not led any laps, but that's because he's had to come through the field, and he'll be starting out a 3rd.
Yeah, so Bence, we know he's had the speed all night. He's shown us that he has that ability, but if he can get up to Borg, what is going to happen? And that is the big question that we're all sort of waiting for at the moment is, will he be able to get past, or will Borg just absolutely make his car, 2-3 car lengths wide and make sure he can't get past him?
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting because Leach is already looking on the inside as we are still under yellow here, so we've got another lap to go. So a little bit more work. I think, are we going into double file restart? It looks like we are. So that means Guy Leach needs to come up next to Brian Borg, I'd say.
Yeah, so the safety car lights are off now, so that means that we're going green next time round. So that'll leave us with exactly 10 laps of racing to go. So this is going to be intense. I'm keen to see how this race ends. There's been a lot of unfortunate things happen to some of the drivers. Some mistakes have been made, different fuel strategies. So it's all going to come to a head after 310 kilometres of racing in 10 laps time. So it's going to be an intense sprint, and I'm sure it's going to fly by for us, Bernie.
Well, it certainly will be, and so update on Mr. Hines here. We've got a few people asking. He's basically just had to come into the pits, his 2nd safety car. He's come out in 8th position. He's led the most laps of the night, but 11 laps to go. I don't know if he can get back up there. What do you think?
It's going to be hard, definitely going to be hard with guys like Leach, Bence and Borg covering that top 3. You've got Hammond in front of him too, so these guys that have been front runners all night. you know, there's money up for grabs here. So it's not just for safety rating or I rating. It's for the real dosh that you can have in your hand to spend on your iRacing career. So this will be interesting, and I think he's going to find it hard to weave his way through the pack. Benz has been the master at that tonight. But we'll see. Maybe Hims will surprise us and absolutely just slice through the pack in a couple of laps and take the battle back to the guys at the front.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be starting just behind Matt Clowett. He's right beside Matt Clowett, his teammate. But 10 laps remaining. It's going to be a sprint, as you're saying. Brian said there will not be any more safety cars. So if there's a massive pile up, well, it's every man for themselves from here on in.
Yeah, that's it, Bernie. Good luck, and I hope you brought your survival skills with you, because you're going to need them.
I'm fine. I just sit up here and talk.
It's a great job, isn't it?
Yeah, you're talking about those guys. Yeah, they're going to need survival skills. I'm probably just going to need another cup of coffee.
Yeah, I've got my second water bottle here, so I think I'm set for the rest of the night, Bernie. These guys, they're coming around through Forest Elbow now, so I reckon Borg, that Shell livery looks quite nice on his car, and he wants to take it home to a win and relive the good old days. But I'm sure Ben's behind him wants to do the same thing, and Leach is in there in that VR46 Commodore, a bit of a dark horse and wanting to take the win today as well.
Yeah, I just wish the 05 Lachlan Smith was up there, but he's unfortunately down in 32nd. And but we did get a shot with them both side by side. But here we go, folks. Hold on to your hats. 10 laps remaining. If we have a big pile up like we did last time, the track's blocked, well, that's just going to be too bad for those guys. But who's your tip for the win?
No, don't ask me. I'd probably name about half the field at this point, because look at the way Bence is hugging on the back of Borg right now. As soon as Borg hits that accelerator, Bence is going with him. So this is going to be intense coming in here, and I would put my money on probably either Borg or Bence. But don't count Guy Leach out of that either. He's right there, and he's been there all night tonight, Bernie.
He certainly has, but what must be going through Guy Leach's mind? He's on the outside here on the front row. He knows Bence is going to send it straight up at Hell Corner if he gets that opportunity. So what's he going to do here? Is he going to try and cut the nose off Bence, or is he going to let Bence through and tuck in?
I think he probably knows that Bence is pretty aggressive. Yeah, there you go. He's just gotten just about straight out of the way there. Borg's gotten a good jump there, and now Benson, Guy Leach are sort of side by side, but Leach got a better run out of that last turn. Hammond's gone and thrown it down the inside of Richard Hunter in the background there. He's made that work onto Mountain Straight here. They're a little bit messy coming out of there, but so far no incidents, Bernie.
No, it looks like they've all got through, but we'll see if they get through turn 2 up here. That's where it all went to pot last time. But at the moment we've got Borg leading Leach, then we've got Bence in third, just sizing them up. Then we've got Hammond, Thomas Hims already up to 5th position and moving very strongly. He knows he has to do this now if he has a chance of winning. But I'll tell you what, he's going to have a hell of a drive if he's going to take the win tonight.
Yeah, well that's it, Bernie. Now he's just got to clear Hammond, Bence, Leach and Borg. And that should be an easy task, shouldn't it, right, Bernie?
Oh yeah, walk in the park. But tell you what, Borg went pretty wide there, and thought he was going to get the wall, but he's gathered it up as we come down through the S's into the dipper. 10 laps remaining here, and it's going to be on.
Yeah, well, Leach isn't leaving Borg alone at the moment. He's still right on the back of him. And Bence has lost a little bit of time to Leach, and Hammond is right on the back of Bence there. So this top 5 here, they've actually cleared out quite a bit as Leach is right on the back of Borg. This could be a move for the lead here, Bernie.
Yeah, well, he's right there, isn't he? Here goes Leach. What's he going to do? Doing a bit of bump drafting there. Is he going to come out? He's thinking about it. Here comes Bence as well. We've got Leach on the inside under brakes. Bence on the outside. There's an overlap. Is he going to get there? All Leach has to do is hold on here under brakes, and he should be able to defend this position. But check out Hammond trying to find a way through. It's not going to happen. Is Hammond now going to try and stick the nose up on the inside of Bence? Yes, he is, and he's got the overlap, so that wiggle from Bence, that's just affected him a bit. And in the meantime, Hins is starting to hunt them down.
And Hins is probably going to get this spot from Bence as well. Bence's race is just not going to plan. He's had a wiggle off of turn 1 there, and now he's through. So Leach is open again to try and chase down Morgan Hammond. After running out of fuel or having a hardware problem, whatever happened there, he's made it back up into 3rd place. So well done to him. And now he's just got to stay there for the last 9 laps of this. As Bence runs very wide through turn 2 there, Bernie. He's pushing hard to try and make up those positions again.
Certainly is, and what's on his mind is probably what's written on the rear spoiler of his car at the moment.
I've been looking at that all race and have a chuckle every time.
But meanwhile, the battle's on here, folks. So
Oh, big moment from Leach, and he's in the wall
he's
there.
into the wall.
He's done well to keep that out of the way of his opponents there. He did very well to not take out those other guys in the top 5. So good on him. Hopefully his car's okay and he can keep going. But a shame to see him drop out of 2nd place there.
Yeah, I'll just have another look at that and see where he all got it loose. Tell you what, the mountain bites, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, and you know you've nearly finished 42 laps of racing here tonight, and then that happens. You know, it's probably a bit of fatigue. Your mind's starting to go a bit, and unfortunately, it only takes a little bit of a lose, and you're gone. So it's unfortunate to see, but so he's still in 11th by the looks of it on my timing here, but we'll see where he ends up coming out by the end of the lap.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Hammond did a great job there, just avoiding him all to the point. Leach did an awesome job keeping it into the wall, because that could have been a nasty accident. So meanwhile, we've got Borg leading the way, Hammond up to 2nd. Then we've got Hins in 3rd now, last on the podium, looking like he may take money. And now Jason Bence is shadowing him. And of course, you know, they might be playing nice now, folks, but give them another 6 laps and things should get interesting.
Yeah, well, Borg's comfortable at the moment. He's got about last lap was a 1.8 second lead over the guys behind him, and that's still sticking at the moment. So he's 2.5 seconds in front of Thomas Hins and about the same from Jason Bence. So right now he's in comfortable territory, and he's just got to keep racing to the end. So unless those guys behind him in that top 4 have anything to offer, Borg is just going to run away with this like he did at the start of the race.
Yeah, well, the gap's out to 1.8 seconds at the moment. Hins has got a mirror full of Leach, all Leach into the wall. As he gathered it up, I tell you what, that was almost another big one.
Yeah, we've seen a few of them tonight, and it's just coming to the end of this race. Is people are starting to, it's getting late at night too, and someone just blew their engine, I think.
That was Hammond.
Oh no, he's just made his way back up there, and Benson Hins have hit as well, and Benson's got by there, and Hammond went straight into the wall of the S's. That's a shame to see. He'd made his way back up through the pack so well.
Yeah, we'll jump back and have a look at that. I think I was mentioning Bence. I might have said Leach, but
I sort of figured out what you meant. I went, Leach, hang on a second.
Yeah, I meant Bence. Bence was in the wall. Sorry, folks, but let's have a look at what happened to Hammond here. I saw all the smoke because we were riding with Bence at the time. No, I don't know if he blew it or not, but it's just thrown sideways there. A lot of smoke though, so maybe he did pop the motor.
Yeah, I did hear like an engine, the old iRacing engine explosion noise. I thought I heard that in the background, so maybe my ears are tricking me. But unfortunately for him, it's just all gone wrong. Again, for one of those top 4, top 5 drivers in the last few laps.
Yeah, well, they're falling, aren't they? And at the moment, Bence got past Hins, and that was a rather interesting move as well. He took him through the dipper, and Mr. Pack and Send.
Yeah, well, he certainly sent it then, and at that point I was holding my breath for him, because you never send it at the dipper. Somebody will always end up in the wall, but Benson and Hinds, they both sort of kept their wits about them and made sure that neither of them went into the wall. So now they're first, second, third. Hinds has fallen behind a little bit. He's sitting about 5 seconds behind first, and that's about about 1.5 seconds behind Bence as well. So he's dropped off a little bit there.
Yeah, so 7 laps remaining. Bence was the fastest in qualifying. Was meant to start from pole, started from the pits. Question is now, has he got it to take it to Brian Borg? And I just don't think he does. Like, Borg's still in the 204s. And we'll see what Bence does this time by, but the last one was a 205.
Yeah, his pace just isn't quite what it needs to be at the moment from Bence. So all the effort he's put in the whole race, he still might walk away with some money in the pocket, but not as much as probably what he was hoping. And who knows how this race would have gone if he started from first.
Yeah, well, at the moment, that $50 is looking good for Mr. Borg. 3.6 seconds was the gap. We'll get a live gap next time through. Actually, we should be able to get that now. Yeah, 3.6 seconds last time by it was.
Yeah, so Borg's just crossed the start-finish line again. And he did a 204.85 that last lap. That's Rupert pace coming towards the end of this race.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Richard Hunter and Gary Cousins are fighting it out here for 6th and 7th. And we haven't seen a lot of these guys, but they've been there most of the night, and it's good to see them both having a good run with 6 laps remaining here. Tell you what, they're spread out again, aren't they? We'll have to call another safety car.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised. The safety car wasn't even that long ago, Bernie, and they've already all sort of spread out again. I guess a couple of incidents that we had sort of spread out the field a bit. So, hang on a second. Oh no, that's just another Waxit car up in front of Bence. It had me tricked for a second there. I thought Hinds had jumped him, but I think that's just a teammate up ahead there. That's confused me. There we go. He's just let him by there. So that's all good in the end. Bence is still pushing. His last lap was a 204.7 compared to, that's actually a 10th faster than what Borg ended up doing. So he's trying to catch, but I just don't think he's going to have that consistent pace to actually come up onto the back of Borg and actually get past him, Bernie.
Yeah, well, there's only time's going to tell, but that car's slowing. That's Matt Clowett. He was actually starting next to Hinds at the restart. He's now a lap down. So, not sure what's happened to him, whether he's bent it and he's had to bring it in for a fast repair or not.
Yeah, well, on my timing, he's still registering as 11th, so it just looks like now that from 11th downwards is a lap down at least. So now we've got on 10th, the top 10 are the only guys in that on that first lap. Sorry, on the lead lap. Words are escaping me now. It's getting late.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the last car of the walking wounded out there is Dennis Fiedler in the 34. He's still running that car, heavily damaged, but he's doing a lot better than a lot of them. Our retirement so far, folks, we'll go through them. The last retirement was Cohen Attard. We've also lost the 98 of Paul Woods. Gavin Sadler has also retired. Eugene Blurton's gone. Mark Hegeretz and Ross Rizzo. Ross went when he had a very high ping. And Chris Polly, Jared Daly did not start, neither did Corey Ott.
Yeah, so we've had a few retirements and a couple of guys that didn't even start the race. So that's unfortunate to see, but hopefully they'll come back next season and try it all again and try their luck.
Yeah, that's right. And looking at the gap now, Bence has taken out about 1/10 of a second out of Borg, and the lap times, Borg did a 204.800 and Bence did a 204.709. They're the only two in the 204s at the moment.
Yeah, they're pushing hard, but it looks like from my live timing that I've got here that the gap just sort of bounces between about 3.2 and 3.5 seconds each lap. So they're just sort of playing a bit of cat and mouse at the moment, really, and catching him at a 10th a lap with 5 laps to go, nearly 4 now, is just it's not going to be enough, unfortunately, to grab that win.
Yeah, and Hunter looks like he's got past Cousins, so he's pushing forward. So the 6th and 7th spots look like that's been decided at the moment. And Reece Keane now 10th. He's just coming out of the pits again, but he's the last one on the lead lap. So not sure what happened to Reese there.
Yeah, maybe just needed a bit more fuel there, Bernie, to make it towards the end of the race. Obviously, it was going to be a bit touch and go for some guys, so just doing a bit of a splash and dash to put in that extra lap or two of fuel.
Yeah, and Leach is back out there. He's running in 9th now, 44 seconds off the lead. He's got his hands full, though, as he's trying to get past the 666 Hog's Breath. Then I think he might have, is that a 888 ahead of it? 898, there you go.
Yes, yeah, so I think there are a couple of lap cars there, so always adds a bit of an interesting element, and looks like he may have to thread the needle here a little bit. So no, he's got past that 666 Hog's Breath, that nice pink livery there, Bernie, nice and easily, but we'll see what he does with the 898 up ahead of him.
Yeah, and 4 laps to go, folks. Your final chance to vote on the best livery tonight. Come over the YouTube channel in the chat and tell us the driver and the number, and we'll announce who wins the best livery at the end of the night. They get $10, I think, for their efforts.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure that is. It's $10 for them, and then and that's an iracing credits, and another $10 iracing credits for the most improved driver of the night, making up the most positions. So good to see there's still money going out to not only the podium getters, but also the a few different special things in the field to spruce things up a bit.
Yeah, that's right. And then there's a bit of contention over whether Bence will get the biggest mover award. He meant to start from pole, started from the pits, and he's worked his way back up to second. But yeah, we'll let the race control decide on who gets that award.
Yeah, that's for sure. Leave that to the smarter people in the world to figure that one out. We'll just keep talking about cars. That's what we do best here.
Exactly right.
So we've got Borg. He's just sitting out front. Last time round was 3.4 seconds ahead. Coming down Conrod, he's 3.3 seconds ahead of Bence. So they're just going tit for tat, trading tenths here and there. So if he can keep this clean, he's got 3 laps to go next time round. Borg's going to take this, and all of his weird and wacky strategy is obviously working out for him, because it's put him back on that top step.
Yeah, exactly right, and they're trading hundredths of seconds at the moment between these two, but all Borg's really got to do is just drive to Jason's pace, manage that gap. He's got 3.4 seconds, 3 laps remaining, and now it's gone to 3.5 seconds. Now the question is, can Hens catch Bence? I don't think so, because the last lap, 2:05.701 for Hens compared to 2:04.903 to Bence.
Yeah, I think our top 3 might be fairly sorted, although I might just check. Adam Briggs, he's still there or thereabouts in 4th place, and he actually did his fastest lap of the race only 2 laps ago now, on lap 46. So yeah, that was a 2:04.9, and his last lap was a 2:05.4. So he's got a bit of late race pace here, and is actually a little bit faster than Thomas Hins. So depending on how things go, he may well be able to pull well onto the back of that number 52 of Thomas Hins.
Yeah, well, he took 0.3 of a second out in that last lap. We've got 3 laps remaining, so to even have a crack at him, he's going to have to at least get 0.8 of a second, maybe 9, to even catch him.
Yeah, from what I've seen here tonight, Bernie, I'm saying anything is possible. So we've seen drivers get taken out and then come back and then go again, and it's been a whirlwind rollercoaster ride of a night, Bernie.
It certainly has, and we've tried to cover as many of the cars throughout the field as we possibly can, folks. But of course, we've been keeping an eye on the action up front, and seeing, I think we've covered just about every single car in the field, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, we've certainly tried to. Having some great liveries, retro and otherwise, in the field has been great to look at. And yeah, there's been battles going on throughout the whole field as well. It's a bit confusing now, because we've obviously got so many cars that have been lapped once, twice, 3 times, so on and so forth. So the battles that look like the things that look like battles may not actually be cars battling, but rather just lap cars trying to get around each other.
Yeah, that's right. And then what we're going to do, folks, on the race results, we'll go through and work out the biggest mover and the second biggest mover, and then we'll hand that over to race control, and they can start working it out. a few viewers have stated they don't think Ben should get the biggest mover award, and I'm sure the race control will be on top of that. But I can see Gary Cousins here coming through in the 058, sitting in 7th, up 4 positions from where he started, so he's had a good run. And Richard Hunter ahead of him is up 6 positions and currently sitting in 6th with 2 laps remaining. Then we can start our Christmas break, Brock.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it actually, Bernie. Get some Christmas turkey and enjoy that for my lunch and dinner. And put the feet up and enjoy the Melbourne weather, which is about as temperamental as anything else in the world.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Scott Newton's finding his car pretty temperamental, I'd say. He's missing the whole rear end boot assembly on that car. But as we know, it doesn't really affect them due to the sort of physics modelling these cars have, which is not very accurate, I'd have to say. But anyway.
Yeah, I think we've heard from a few of the guys sort of in the V8 Scops and AOSC community that the cars don't feel like they should, and heard from a few V8 supercar drivers as well in the Australian New Zealand community that they sort of feel a bit funky compared to what the guys actually drive. So, but that's alright. I mean, without a boot, it means you should go faster without that extra weight on there. So he's should be flying down Conrod at the moment.
Yeah, he should be. And at the moment, Thomas Hinds is flying because that gap 3.3 seconds back to Adam Briggs. So Adam's not making a dent. And then, of course, Brian Borg's got 3.6 seconds back to Jason Bentz. And I'll do it all backwards here. And then 4.2 seconds goes back to Thomas Hinds.
Yeah, so Brian Borg's just crossed the start-finish line for the start of the last lap here. He's raced a brilliant race, lap 50, 300. He's into the last part of the 310-kilometre race here today. Bentz can see him, but unfortunately he just didn't have what it takes at the end of this race to bring it to him and hunt him down, Bernie. So looks like if Borg can make it through this race, he's going to be our winner for the night and win that $50 iracing credit.
Yeah, he's on the last lap now. I bet you he's hoping that as he comes up through the cutting up here, no one's throwing a rock on the track. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you can say that again, or that nobody's left a stray car parked across the cutting, or Sulman and Reed Park.
That's it.
So he's coming around now. He's coming through Sulman and Reed. He's just nice controlled drive. He's not pushing the car too hard. Obviously, you can see he's not even getting too close to those walls. I think he was lifting off through the grate there as well, just really taking it easy. No need to take any risks now for him. He's got this race in the bag if he can make it through the rest of this race, Bernie.
Yeah, that's right. And thanks to our sponsor, West Coast Subaru, they've put all the prize money up for this tonight. So Brian's going to walk away with 50 dollars worth of iRacing credits for this win. Bentz should get 25, Hinds will get $10, and then the fastest mover will get another 10, and the best best livery, will get 10. But Brian Borg's now coming down Conrod Straight for the last time into the chase, and should be home for a win unless something crazy and funky happens about now.
Yeah, he's driven a brilliant race, kept his cool, and you can see his car's beautifully clean as well. I don't think he's had to use any fast repairs either this race. He's not made any contact with anyone, and he's just driven beautifully and made sure that his races has been well run, not made too many mistakes, and he comes across the line and has gotten first place. So well done to Brian Borg on winning that $50 and also coming through as the King of the Mountain, the FNRC King of the Mountain after 50 laps of racing.
Yeah, we're just seeing the rest of them come through now. Adam Briggs comes home in 4th position. Phil Worley, where's Phil? He's just coming now to take the checkered flag and comes home in 5th. Richard Hunter, he'll hold on for 6th position, and he'll be followed home by Gary Cousins, who's coming across the line now for 7th. Guy Leach, he ended up coming home in 8th position. Stephen Williams will come home in 9th, and then rounding out your top 10 will be Reece Keane.
Yep. So just waiting for my timing to update here. Yep, so I've got Stephen Williams 9th, Reece Keane. So we're waiting on Nick's already come across the line there. Nick Fotiadis, hopefully I get that right. He's come across in 11th. Then we've got Scott Newton in the end, came across in 12th place there without his boots. So a good recovery after that incident down at the S's. Damon Stockton in 13th. Les Peck coming home in 14th for those fans out there that were asking about him. Christopher Foster, in that 666 Sergeant Security Hog's Breath, comes home in 15th. Darcy May has just come across the line in 16th place. Matthew Clowitz, I think is already off the track, but he came home in 17th. Jody Baldwin in that Banana Boat number 9 entry comes home in 17th. Yeah, Matthew Clowitz looks like he's actually disconnected from the race at the very end there, so he's still falling down there. Craig Anspack comes home in 18th place. David Farrelly, too sure what's going on here with the timing, Bernie, because Matthew Clowitz is falling down the timesheets there, and he's actually disconnected before the race ended. So I think David Farrelly's going to jump him into 19th, and Alex McCullough will jump him into 20th.
Yeah, and we'll go through the full results very shortly to see who the biggest mover is. But before we do that, let's have a look at the best livery. So having a look at the votes, the 05 got 1 vote. The 017, that's the Brian Borg entry, that got 1 vote. The 72, now that was Adam Briggs, had 4 votes. The number 9, that's the Banana Boat Synovus entry, driven by Jody Baldwin, got 3 votes, and the winner is the number 99, Nick Fotiadis, in the Pertec livery, takes the best livery prize tonight.
Oh, there you go. That's good to hear, and he'll go home with that $10 iracing credit to buy something that he's really wanted, or he can keep it for the LMP1 and GTE cars we have coming next year, Bernie.
Yeah, that's right. So, and that should pretty much cover off a car, I think. What are the cars worth these days? $9.95 still, or are they a bit more these days?
I think they're about $11.95, but if you own over 40 pieces of content, you get your discount on that, so that'll bring it down to about that $10.
Yeah. That's exactly it, and so there's a bit of contention here. I'm going to have to do a count back because people are saying the number 9 should have 5 votes. So it's going to have to go back to count back, but if it does, then it's a draw. So
what happens now?
I'll go back after the broadcast, do a count back, and I'll double check it and then let race control know. But yeah, I knew we should have set up a survey. So let's go over to the Discord channel, see if we've got any people here waiting for an interview. Yep, look at him. We've got Adam Briggs. So he's probably the only one that knows how to find us.
Well, he's done well. He's managed to navigate his way over here.
Yeah, so we'll cross to Adam and we'll have a quick chat with him.
Yeah, no worries.
Now they're all coming in. Hi, Adam. Welcome to the RRTV Combox, mate. 4th position tonight. We saw earlier you had the pace there with Thomas, but you just couldn't get on the back of him after that restart.
Yeah, look, struggled on the last set of tyres there. So, no, I had a great race. Tried to be consistent. Knew there was going to be a lot of traffic, so you just got to give everyone a room to make their own mistakes and not get involved in theirs. So it was a very hectic race.
Yeah, it certainly looked that way. We saw you shadowing Hins for most of that second half. Were you actually happy to sit there and fuel save, or were you trying to actually get past him?
Yeah, look, before the safety car, I was probably trying to do a little bit of fuel saving and maybe do a shorter pit stop and jump him in the pits. I think that was probably a safer way of doing it at the time. When the safety car came out, it changed everything. So, but yeah, I probably should have pitted on that safety car. A bit of a mistake on my behalf. But yeah, it was a fantastic race.
Yeah, because I think you guys pitted on the second safety car, didn't you, which then sort of put you down the field a fair ways. I know Thomas was in 8th. Where did you restart in that last restart?
Yeah, I was restarted right behind him in 9th. I got caught up sort of in the battle of a couple of other 2 guys. By the time I cleared them, Thomas was 5 and a bit seconds up the road. Sort of brought that into 3 seconds towards the end of the race, but yeah, it was just there was a lot of passing, a lot of track position. Track position was king, really.
Yeah, it certainly was, and we saw a couple of big incidents there, but fortunately after that last restart it was fairly straight going and no more big incidents. But I'm going to pass you over to Brock now and see if he's got any more questions for you, Adam.
G'day, Adam. How you feeling after 310 kilometres around Bathurst, mate?
I was only just saying to my boys in the team chat, I'm absolutely drained. It's probably the longest I've driven a V8 supercar for. Yeah, I don't often drive them, and yeah, there's such a car that you have to concentrate so hard for. It was just, I'm sweating. So
yeah, I was saying to Bernie that it might be like that, but you've done really well. You ended up 4th place there and made up three positions there, if my timing's not lying to me. And how did the car feel across the stints? Obviously, the fuel was a little bit of a dark horse in the whole race, with guys pitting after 8 laps and 14 laps. Where did you feel your sort of comfortable spot for pitting was?
Yeah, I just tried to get as many full tanks out of the way early. I know a few people, I mean, I raised my eyebrows when I saw someone pitting early, but it explained the pace, I guess. I guess people were probably, I don't know, thinking that there might be an early safety car, so they went short on fuel so they could get their fuel in under a stoppage. But yeah, it was just a hectic race, and I was sweating. It's a hot night, and I was just sweating with all the concentration and trying to keep out of all the accidents that were happening. Yeah.
Well, now you've got your Christmas break and you can sit back, relax, and I was saying to Bernie before, we're going to have some Christmas turkey on Christmas Day. So now you've gotten this King of the Mountain race out of the way. You can be proud of yourself for coming through 4th after 50 long laps at Bathurst, mate.
Thank you very much, Brock. Thank you very much for having me here.
Was there anyone you wanted to thank or any shout-outs you wanted to make, Adam?
Yeah, look, DPR Racing, the guys, there's a lot of us in the race tonight, and we all encouraged ourselves to practice during the week. It's not anyone's natural car, so yeah, we were putting in as much effort as we can to learn the car and to be as competitive as we could as a team. Big shout out to Phil. I think he did a fantastic job. He came in 1 spot behind me in 5th. Hardly driven a V8 supercar before. I think he did the Bathurst 1000, but he did that very green. So yeah, he did a fantastic job.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam. Thanks for coming down in the comms box, and I'm sure we'll see you in here again soon, commentating some more racing or either racing on track.
I'd love it.
No worries. Merry Christmas, mate, and have a safe New Year.
Thank you.
I nearly threw you out of the comm box then.
Oh, jeez, Bernie, am I annoying you that much?
Oh dear. Our next interview is Thomas Hinz, and we'll have a very quick chat with him because we want to get to Brian Borg, tonight's winner. Did you want to start this interview?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we'll just keep it really brief. Like,
no worries.
I say that because Thomas talks like you'll find out.
How you doing, Thomas?
Hey, not bad, Brock, yourself?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Good run out there tonight, coming in 3rd place. It was a bit of back and forth there for you tonight. How you feeling?
Yeah, it was good. Qualifying went well. I mean, credit to, Guy, all the top guys, really, Borgie, Bensi, Guy and all the others up there. That was really close in quali, which was really good fun to see. But yeah, no, the start was pretty good, just kept it clean. Unfortunately, Ross started having some his internets can have some major issues at times, which is always a real pain because it's just heartbreaking to see him have to retire with internet issues. So unfortunately, his internet started playing up after a while, so we had to pull aside. So that put him out. So I just kept going along. I thought I'd keep it long early on. So a lot of guys looked like they tried to get that short fill done early, but I thought I'll stay out, avoid the traffic, and just keep pumping in the laps and take the short fill at the end. It was going along well. Just kept keeping it clean, pumping away the laps, keeping ahead of Adam, who credit to Adam, we had an awesome battling throughout the race. It was really good fun. And yeah, just kept going along. Then the caution kind of wrecked my plan because I was on to be in a good spot, and then the caution kind of wrecked that. So, and then it was confusing for me. I didn't realize how they did the cautions, but it's my bad. no fault to Brian, to Shero or anyone. That was just me not knowing how it worked, because I haven't raced here for a while. So that kind of balked me over, but thankfully we had another caution straight away, which kind of saved me, Adam, I think, and Philip kind of saved our skins so we could stay in it.
Yeah, because we saw you come into the pits for fuel in that second one, which put you down, but you really cut through the pack in a couple of laps there and came back through again. So did well there, and obviously with Guy Leach there, he made a mistake and that took him out. Then Michael Hammond, that made your life a little bit easier coming into those last few laps. Credit to Guy credit to him as well to come back and still get an 8th out of it. He had his pace was just super strong throughout that race. Credit to Guy, he really stepped it up for this one. And he was really tough to keep in touch with while he was at the front. But he just got the grass blocks over the top and hit the wall. And when you're hitting him at those speeds, you're going to get big damage, and that kind of put him out. But that kind of obviously helped me go up a spot. And then I had to try and get by Hammond, and he blew his engine coming down, which very scary moment. Just coming down, the smoke billows out from the car in front, and I just ended up. I took to the left a bit and cut the track a bit because I didn't know if he was going to go left or hit the wall and come back over. So I just kind of did a bit cautious and went a bit left, which I had to cut track. So I had to sort of yield to Bency, but Bency was going to get me anyway because he just had the pace on me. So I just sort of slipped in behind, and my main focus was just keeping ahead of Adam and managed to do that to the end. So it all worked out in the end. That was good fun. Only 2 cautions considering the size of the field and being Bathurst. It was really good to see that we only had the 2 cautions over such a long race. Yeah, that's for sure, mate. And especially one of those being a random caution and the other being just one for a crash. It was good to see that the race kept going. Now, we do have another interview we need to get along to. Yes. Were there any shout-outs you wanted to make or any thank yous you wanted to do?
Yeah, so the usual ones, I suppose, I usually rattle off every time. On Waxit, of course, Car Care for their sponsorship of the team. Really appreciate it. Cars look awesome with their sponsorship on them. GTI, Race Centre, Carney, big thanks to them. They've been long-time supporters for us, so continued support is just hugely appreciated. Again, big thanks to the team for just being awesome to race with. Always an awesome bunch of guys to be in the chat when we're racing. Just chatting away and racing always makes it good fun. And a big thanks to you guys as well for the broadcast, and also, I guess, finally finish off with a big thanks to Shero and the crew that run the league. It is a really, really well run league. To get the numbers they do week in, week out here at Bathurst for these events is just awesome. Big credit to those guys as well.
Yeah, thanks. It's our pleasure to stream it, and you guys make it interesting for us. So I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a safe New Year, Thomas, and we'll see you next year, hopefully in some of our broadcasts.
Yeah, sounds good. Same to you guys. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. See you around, mate.
See ya.
Okay, folks, that was Thomas Hinz. He came home 3rd, but let's get to the King of the Mountain award, and that is Brian Borg, and he gets bragging rights for tonight's effort. Hi, Brian. Thanks for waiting, mate, and congratulations on taking the win tonight. You get the ultimate bragging rights, mate.
Yeah, man. Thank you, guys. Really heart in the mouth stuff racing there.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good racing, that's for sure, but we had a look at it, and you ended up leading 20 of the 50 laps here, so it looked like a fairly dominant performance once you got out in front. Were you at any point worried about Jason catching up to you?
Well, obviously me and Jason were obviously teammates, so I know his strengths and he knows my weaknesses, and I wasn't worried about him, but I knew it would be tough competition if he did get to the back of me. I just had to be focused for the remainder of the race, really.
Yeah, well, it looked like you guys are pretty much trading time, so it looked to me like you were managing that gap, and then you managed to increase it out to 4.1 seconds by the end of it. The big question I've got for you, and I'm sure Brock's got the same one, was your pit strategy earlier on in the race. You were like pitting every 7 laps there, and we weren't quite sure what you're up to.
Yeah, it's just want to see who follows the leader, and also you don't know when that yellow flag's going to come out. So just thinking about the yellow flag really at the start. Obviously, it didn't come out until lap 32. So, yeah, it's the way it goes. You just got to play it as it comes.
Yeah, well, I think the safety car could only come out in the second half of the race, so that's why we saw it when we did. But I'm going to hand you over to Brock, Brian, and I'm sure he's got a few more questions for you, mate.
Yep.
Congratulations on being the FNRC King of the Mountain, mate. You ran a really nice race, and as Bernie was saying, we were sitting here in the comm box sort of a little bit confused with your strategy, but it obviously worked beautifully for you because, well, you're on top, your name's up the top there, and you're going to be getting that $50 iracing credit voucher, mate. How did you feel sort of having to claw back a bit, I guess, when guys like Thomas Hinds were running 14 lap stints compared to when you were running 7 or 8 lap stints?
Yeah, I wasn't really worried about it. I was just running my own race at the start there. Some people followed a couple laps after. They were the guinea pigs really to see how far you could go in a stint. I was just really running my own race.
Yeah, we did really well there, mate. And I asked Adam Briggs the same question, but how do you feel after 310 kilometres and 50 laps around Bathurst? Like, that's more than what most will do around Bathurst.
Pretty walk in the park for me. Don't want to sound like I've got a big head, but yeah, after the laps that Bernie would know how many laps we've done around here. He's done a lot of commentating in the last couple of months around Bathurst.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So been getting your practice up, but yeah, your pace tonight was phenomenal, mate. You've really picked up the game, and now you're winning, not just winning official races and that sort of thing, but now you're winning money as well through the FNRC. And what did you think of I guess you were in a few battles tonight with Bence as well, and a couple other guys up the field. How did you like the racing?
Yeah, there was no team orders. It was pretty much go for it. We raced very respectful. I got to give a big shout out to Brian Sheridan for running this series, man. It's an awesome series, and it's just going bigger and bigger each time it comes out.
Yeah, well, I'll admit, I don't know about Bernie, I was pretty impressed to see 44 people turn out for tonight's race because, unfortunately, the way it goes with leagues in Australia is they start off popular, but they die off a little bit, whereas this one seems to be going strong head on into the future. So I'm assuming next year, if it's still around, you'll be back again for more?
Yeah, absolutely, I'll be.
That's awesome, mates, and we'll let you go soon because it's obviously getting a bit late, but were there any thank yous or any more shout-outs you wanted to give, mate?
Yeah, to you guys, RRTV, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you for an awesome year again. Laser Racing, all the team in Laser Racing, everybody else, all the competitors out there. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Enjoy it, be safe on the roads, and yeah, woohoo!
You can put your feet up now, mate. Thank you for that, and it's our pleasure to stream and see you guys do your best out on track. We hope you have a Merry Christmas and a safe New Year too, and we'll see you next year, hopefully up on that top step again there, Borgie.
Yeah, we can only get better from here, but there's only one way down too.
Exactly it, mate, but good luck for next year, and I'm hoping we'll see you on another RRTV stream soon, mate.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
See you later.
So, folks, that was Brian Borg, our race winner tonight, and he gets the King of the Mountain award for the Friday Night Racing Club. So that pretty much is going to come to the end of our interview part, but before we go, Brock, we have to actually go through the full race results so we can work out who the biggest mover is, and then we'll hand that over to the race control admin to confirm that after the broadcast. So looking at the final results, we had Brian Borg comes home in first. He was pretty much up one position from where he started. Jason Bence finished one position down from where he started in second. Thomas Hinds in third, up two positions. Adam Briggs fourth. Philip Worley fifth. Sixth, Richard Hunter. Seventh is Gary Cousins. Guy Leach finishes 8th. Stephen Williams up 15 positions, so keep an eye on that one for us. It's the 88. Home in 9th. 10th was Reece Keane. 11th, Nick Fatiadis. And 12th was Scott Newton.
So in 13th place, we have Damon Stockton. 14th place was Les Peck, who made it up 17 spots. 15th place was Christopher Foster, who made up 25 spots. That's a mega effort. 16th place was Darcy May with 13 spots made up. 17th was Jody Baldwin. 18th was Craig Anspack. 19th was Matthew Clowett. 20th was David Farrelly with 18 spots made up. 21st was Alex McCullough. 22nd was David Trevathan. 23rd was Jeff Dehon, who made up 18 positions, a very good effort there. 24th was Brendan McCarthy, who made up 20 positions.
Home in 25th was Brian Sheridan, and then we had Michael Hammond in 26th. 27th, Jeff Vincent. 28th was Luke May. Coming home in 29th, Daniel Harding. And then we had Tim Awima finishing in 30th. Dennis Fiedler had a bit of a rough night out there, but classified in 31st. George Fullerton saw he had his fair share of knocks as well, coming home in 32nd. Paul Nichols pretty much finished where he started in 33rd position. Steve Kirk comes home in 34th. 35th was Lachlan Smith. 36th is Cohen Attard. Home in 37th was Paul Woods, and then Gavin Sadler comes home in 38th. 39th, Eugene Blurton. Then 40th, Mark Hagaratz, followed by Ross Rizzo in 41st. Chris Polly was classified in 42nd, and then the two that did not start was Corey J. Ott and Jared Daly.
So I think from what I've seen on that list there, depending on how race control goes with Jason Bentz, considering he chose to start from pit lane, it looks as though that Chris Foster in that 666 Hog's Breath Cafe livery is going to be our hard charger of the night. He made up 25 positions, Bernie. That's a brilliant effort. So we'll see where they decide to go with Jason Bentz and what they decide with that. But nothing to frown upon for guys like Chris Foster, Les Peck that have made up 25, 17 spots. That's a mega effort around Bathurst, and over such a long race, you've really got to keep it together to get that done.
Yeah, well, I think Christopher Foster will get the fastest mover, mainly because if you look at our results, it's based on where you start from on the grid, not if you choose to start from pit lane or not. So we'll have to wait for race control to confirm that, but I have a feeling that's the way that will go. But all in all, Brock, it's been quite an exciting night.
Yeah, that's for sure. It hasn't disappointed. Bathurst never does, and we saw a couple of big crashes, but also some good battling, and Brian Borg coming out on top and grabbing that win in the end and getting that $50 iracing credit. So well done to him again. Well done to our podium, and to every guy that came out here to race tonight. Yeah, they all did a great job, and hopefully we'll see them all next year on our RRTV broadcast, racing hard again.
Yeah, that's right. And, of course, we kick off once again on RRTV. January the 2nd will be the next round of the RRTV Rallycross Super Series, and we get a well-earned break till then. But then once we hit January, folks, it's going to continue. The action will continue on RRTV through January. We will have the, as I said, the Rallycross. Then we'll be going back into the AOSC. We've got the NASCAR Thursday Night Thunder coming up. We've got another NASCAR Massive Series also coming our way, as well as the Skippies and a few other series which haven't been mentioned here. But I guess, Brock, you're going to go and have some Chrissy drinks now and relax a bit?
Yeah, I reckon I'll get myself some food, pop in front of the TV and watch a movie for a bit, Bernie. I haven't got work tomorrow. I can just relax and take it easy tonight. So that time of year where you can just relax and sit back and don't have to worry about anything.
I don't know about you. I've got to start my Christmas shopping tomorrow.
Leaving it to the last minute, are we?
Situation normal for me. My theory is everyone's finished by Christmas Eve, then I can just walk in and do my shopping and a little bit, which is pretty easy. I just go to the auto teller, I get $100 out, and I give everyone $20. That's how I splurge.
Easy as that. I mean, there's nothing more thoughtful than giving people money because they can buy whatever they want.
Exactly right. But also, on a serious note, thanks to all the viewers that supported RRTV throughout the year. It's been quite an eventful year, and a lot of you have been there for the ride, so I really appreciate your support. I'd also like to wish all our viewers and their families a very Merry Christmas, and if you're going away, travel safe, folks, because we want to see you back safe and sound in the new year. But until then, on behalf of Brock Haddai, hope I pronounced that right, Brock. And did I get it?
Yeah, close enough.
Caddo. On behalf of Brock Haddai, I'm Bernie Weemers. Thanks for tuning in to RRTV. We look forward to your company again on January the 2nd. But until then, drink but don't drive. Good night.